Oh, were you now? Okay.
Good morning, one and all, and welcome to Clay Pigeon for round 7 of the British Universities Karting Championship for 2025. It's our Prems and Clubmans out on track today for what should be the finale for this season. I am Reeve, joined in the commentary box by Mr. John Ratcliffe. How are you today, John?
Good morning, sir. I am very, very excited, my good man, as we just try and get the audio levels perfect for you all watching on the live stream this morning. As you say, joining us down here at Clay Pigeon. First time I've personally been here in a little while, but a track that the drivers will know pretty well. We've been here quite a few times in the BUKC, and like you say, today very exciting. We end off the mains championship, and we've also got the drivers championship this afternoon. It's going to be a very exciting stream. Make sure you stick around for the whole day. But before we get into talking to a few drivers, we'll just head through this little slate and look at the track that we're looking at today. A really fun and quite fast circuit, isn't it, Reeve?
It is indeed. Plenty of technical, tight little sections as well. Those big overtaking opportunities at the start of the lap and also onto the back straight as well. There's our weather for the looks of things as well. Looks like it's going to improve a little bit, but not going to see any massive sunshine. But for a BUKC day, pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for Clay as well, pretty good. It's often a microclimate here at Clay, and often the clouds drop and suddenly we get horrific weather. But hopefully it'll hold out today and it'll be nice and dry for the entirety of racing action. But yeah, like we say, coming to the end of the championship, of course, if you're looking for some of the drivers and you don't notice them, they might be in the intermediate championship tomorrow, which we'll also be bringing to you live as well here from Clay Pigeon. But looking at the championship, it's rather close at the top of both, isn't it? Both Premier and Clubman.
It is indeed. Oxford, Brooks A, Cardiff A and Bath A all in that top-end fight. And as you say, Clubman's also looking close. Loughborough C, Birmingham A and UCLA also separate by just a couple of points. So it's all going to come down to today, folks.
It is indeed. Like I say, do not go anywhere. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're held up here in the commentary box, and today we've not really got... we can't really miss anything. We've got a gigantic commentary box screen here, a full plasma screen TV. We can't miss anything, and neither is Mr. Piers. We're going to hand down to him as we get ready for the first race of the day.
Hello, welcome everyone to the grid here at round 7, the final round of the BUKC 2025. And we've got an exciting day of racing. Round 7 this morning, which Reeve and John have just spoken to you about. We've got the Drivers' Champs this afternoon. That's going to be interesting, but we'll get to that later on as we head down the grid for our first race this afternoon. This is our pole sitter from Huddersfield A. Who are you? What's your name?
Good morning, I'm Robbie Rigby, racing Huddersfield A.
Robbie, we've spoken to you a few times before on the live broadcast. What are you thinking about this morning? Of course, Clay Pigeon, a great circuit, very tight, keeps the racing together.
It's very fast, very flowy. Looking forward to starting on pole for once. And I've had 2 P2s this year, so hoping I can go one better.
Oh, 2 P2s is a very good run of results so far. Brand new tyres on these Club 100 karts at the moment, so how are you planning to get them up to temperature?
Feeling fresh in this first one, just kind of weave as much as I can, and then just get head focus on the start, see what we can do from there.
Absolutely, we'll keep an eye on Huddersfield from the front of the field. Alongside him we have a Nottingham Trent driver. Lift your visor up, young man. And now you were affectionately referred to as the NTU Bandit by your friends.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
Is there any material behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been disqualified 3 times over the course of my career here, so that's probably cause for
concern.
Yeah, concern at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to get disqualified from this one, or are you going to behave yourself today?
Oh, let's hope not. Let's hope I behave.
Well, we'll see. Keep an eye out from Nottingham Trent at the front of the field. They'll probably be in the pits at some point in this race. We'll move further down the grid. I'm going to grab a word with our championship leaders. It's very, very tight in the championship at the moment from all of the top 3 or 4 teams. But our driver who's currently for Oxford Brooks A is starting in 21st place. Where is number 8? Where is number 8 from 21st place? Am I being blind? Right there, right behind me. This is our Oxford Brooks A driver. Championship leaders. First race of the day in the final round of the season. You're leading the championship. What's your plan?
Send it.
Just pure send.
Send it.
Send it.
I'm at the back. I need to send it.
I'm getting the vibe that you want to send it.
Yes.
What's your name?
Logan.
Logan.
Parker.
Logan Parker. We'll keep an eye on that. Of course, very close to the championship. We'll see how hard Logan sends it, as I think we're very, very shortly heading into the first race of the day here at Clay Pigeon for round 7 of the BUKC. Oh, it's going to be a good day.
As long as I'm not above this thing, I'm all right here.
I'm liking the idea of some sending it. That seems like it's going to be very interesting indeed. It's going to make for some great racing, I'm sure, here at Clay Pigeon. I think it's a bit of a fan favourite, is Clay, isn't it? It always provides some great action.
It definitely does. Yeah, watch out for row number 10 then, Oxford Brooks A there. Wanting to start off today well, at least. But yeah, like we've said, it's a fast track, but then with some difficult technical sections. It is quite difficult to overtake here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a few different overtaking opportunities, but like Logan said there, you kind of have to send it. You've really got to go for the move. If you go a bit half-heartedly, it can go wrong pretty quickly. I mean, I know that from personal experience. Down at the hairpin, I got taken out in my one of my last BUKC races here at Clay Pigeon. So we're watching that hairpin gleefully here from the commentary box. But I do still miss racing these karts. They're just so much fun. The drivers love it. Drivers love this track. What a way to end the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're ready to go and have a look at some grids now for our first race of the day. So as we still wait for our karts to start up, things are a little bit quiet at the moment. Here is our grids for our first race of the day then. It will be Huddersfield A, Nottingham Trent A on row 1, Loughborough D, Bath D, UWE A and UCL A row 2 and 3. Moving on then, Southampton A, Bath A, Birmingham A, Liverpool A, Reading B and Exeter A row 4, 5 and 6. Moving on to the 7th row of the grid, we are going to have Bristol A, Coventry C, Bristol B, Warwick A, Manchester A and UClan A row 7, 8 and 9. UCLB, Loughborough C on row 10, followed by Oxford Brooks A and Lancaster B row 11, Cambridge B and Sheffield C on row 12, and we move on to row 14. Plenty of packed grids here in the BUKC. It's Sheffield A, Portsmouth A, Oxford Brooks B, Imperial B, Derby A and Loughborough B, row 13, 14 and 15. It's Cambridge A, Oxford Brooks D on row 16, Oxford A, Bristol C, Leeds D and Cardiff A on row 17 and 18. And then the final kart on the grid there is row 19, the Uni of Life, perhaps the best and most accredited uni in all of England.
Interested to see who that's going to be coming through the pack, whether it's just someone having a bit of a jolly or whether they're probably going to get involved. I mean, we'll wait and see. The adorning fans lining the lining the balcony up there. Probably drivers who are just going to be in a few later races.
Do a Mexican wave, everyone.
They can't hear you. They can't hear you, mate, sadly. Well, probably for the best.
They never know. They might have to stream up. The stream is, of course, on YouTube and back on Facebook this time around. The BUKC Facebook group back up and running. So great to see that we've got plenty of ways to get in on the action.
Yeah, it's been gone for a few years now. We won't explain the full story of that one. But, yeah, good to have it back. And I'm back for the finale. The best time to have it back anyway. But like we've been saying so much, we're looking onto the championship for today. Now, slightly short on, we've got the 7 rounds rather than the usual 8 that we have because we've squeezed in Drivers' Champs into today, but it's all made the points super, super close with one drop round across the season. And basically, the first things first, the drivers need to beat their worst score of the year or this is going to become their drop round. And then, obviously, it's fighting for the points throughout today, and it's so close at the top of the championship. Like Piers mentioned on the grid, 292 points for Oxford Brooks A, 291 points for Cardiff A, 289 points for Bath A. So 3 points separating the top 3 in the championship. And if you don't know the point system here at BUKC, you get 60 points for a round win, and then it's 1 point less for each position you get below first place in the round. So it's going to be really close at the top. It's going to be tetchy, and with drivers starting a bit further back in this one, like Oxford Brooks A, we'll see how that all plays out. I mean, they're in 21st place on the grid for this first one, but right at the back of the grid for this one are Cardiff A. So 2 main championship protagonists starting quite far down the order in this one. They'll be wanting to get through the field as quickly as they can, but that is easier said than done as the drivers head out for their practice laps.
Yeah, they are indeed. So now's the chance to get the kart warmed up and ready to go racing. They've been sat around for a little while, so of course everything is going to be freezing cold. Drivers are going to get used to what the track surface is feeling like. And as we look on into that first hairpin, you can just see the grip levels are so low this early on in the day. Karts sliding around. Drivers are going to have to be careful as we start this first race of the day. We know turn 1 can be a bit of a pinch point, especially on the first lap. It's quite tricky to get started here at Clay Pigeon, I think, because you've got to stay in those tram lines, but those tram lines kind of follow the left-handed bend around. There's not much of a start-finish straight here at all, really, is there?
No, yeah, there's no proper straight except that one we see going down to the hairpin. So no real time to relax as well, but it's not too tough of a one on the drivers, this, but at the end of the day, it is still a 25-minute kart race, which is pretty tough on the body at the best of times. So, of course, we were at GYG last time out for the last 2 rounds. Here for Clay Pigeon, 2 very, very different circuits, so it's going to be a tough one for the drivers to transition over from GYG to Clay Pigeon, but we have got a decent number of very experienced drivers out there, drivers that maybe have done owner driver karting or some top-level rentals in the past, so I think they'll take to it pretty quickly. But as you can see there, like you were mentioning, tough circuit to crack on with this morning, a little bit damp, a little bit cold comparatively to the time of year, but already quite a bit of grass and dust and whatnot getting kicked up onto the circuit as well. That'll be less than ideal for the first lap of racing when they all probably try and go 5 or 6 wide there down to that corner.
Yeah, exactly. They need to focus on getting ready to go racing, probably half of their mind thinking about the end of season party that we're of course going to be having here to celebrate what has been a great season's worth of racing in the BUKC.
Well, we're having a bit of a party in the comms box. We've already dropped some choice beverages. I won't mention the brand here on the live stream, but thank you very much. Do we know what team it was that gave us the drink and
we were told by the producers, because these turned up before we did this morning, and the briefing
shouldn't mention that.
it is the driver with the googly eyes on the helmet,
okay,
which I remember distinctly, so thank you.
I'm pretty sure that's Warwick, if I remember correctly.
I
think
Warwick.
That's Warwick A, so thank you, Warwick.
So commentator's curse definitely not in effect there, because not only Jaffa cakes but also some enjoyable beverages.
Thank you.
And also Leeds as well. Leeds with some homemade banana bread, which is a new one for me. That's top-notch effort there.
That's as we said, we're gonna do the opposite of a commentator's curse. It's gonna be a commentator's blessing for them today. They're gonna be absolutely fine out there. Might even come through and win the championship with homemade banana bread.
Easily done.
That's all that can happen. That's all. But thank you very much for all the kind offerings. I mean, we see it as a kind gesture, but we know they're just trying to get into the heavens here. They're just trying to appease the gods in the commentary box, not us, just the karting gods in general. So hopefully that'll work for you, but we'll wait and see. I mean, we always try and pretend like it does work so we get more free things.
Yep, that's when we've just about woken up in time to grab a Mackey's breakfast. That is it's always handy to have a bit of a backup.
That is the breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't in James Hunt's day, but I think now in 2025, Mackey's is the way to go in the morning. And we're yet to have that question on the grid from Piers. I mean, he was slightly had to go through it slightly speedily before this first race, but hopefully we'll hear some breakfast options later on in a few rest of the heats. But like we say, 6 races to come this morning then, ladies and gentlemen. We'll switch between the lightweights and the heavyweights. We kick it off here with a lightweight race. Don't worry, they're not all going the wrong direction. We're just heading through the cut-through as we get the grid sorted out into 2x2 formation. But like you mentioned, as you were talking through the grids here are massive, so getting them all into the correct order can take a few minutes.
Yeah, it will indeed, especially on a relatively shorter track. It's not the shortest by any means, but it's by no means the biggest, that is for certain. So 36 karts here. It's going to be, I think, an interesting one on a race start, but it looks to me the formation is going pretty well. Shouldn't be too much longer, I don't think, until we're all set up. And by pretty well, I mean we can at least see most of the karts on the same camera shot now. Just look at how many there are tumbling their way down through into the first part of the lap.
It literally, as you said that, we had about
5
or 6 rows go 3 wide.
Yes.
Yeah, sorting themselves out well. Hopefully they remember to go through the cut through again. Yes, they do. Right, okay, perfect. They'll be heading up through the final section of the circuit yet again. Hopefully this time getting into 2x2 formation. Getting ready for the first race of the day here then, for the finale of the British Universities Karting Championship in 2025. Like we say, lots to play for in terms of the championship. There'll be a number of teams here not involved in the championship battle though, still looking to go well, still pressing on. They're still able to fight over the same piece of tarmac. Doesn't matter whether you're in with a shot at the championship or not, you want to win a race. That's what every race driver wants to do, and we'll see who does it in this first race of the day then. Huddersfield A on the front row of the grid alongside Nottingham Trent A, the 41 there of Huddersfield with the 15 of Nottingham Trent A. Looks like we're good to go for the finale of the BUKC in 2025. 2x2 to the lights, and we're off down to the first corner at Billy's Blind. Now this is going to be interesting on the brakes. You often see a few drivers going off here, but commentators blessing. I mean, the cone's gone. The cone is gone there at the first corner, but they've all somehow made it through. A big hop and skip and a jump there over the curve for the number 4 of Southampton A, but still, they've not made it through. Yellow flag there down at the chicane. A couple of drivers on the grass, but already some good scraps going on. But already the top few drivers starting to try and scamper away.
Yeah, it was a great start for Huddersfield on pole there. Had the inside, so just made it look pretty easy. Of course, that's a clubman's car there currently in the lead.
Oh, big off.
Oh, that is a fairly substantial off, as we say. Is that just a case of cold tyres, a bit of contact, and then you're just going to go flying to the outside of the circuit? Luckily, a nicely placed barrier there to help you keep relatively close, at least, to the circuit, as you see the driver having to push the cart back onto the track before you can get underway. And especially this early on into the race, it is so tragic, isn't it? Because you can just see everyone romping away from you, and that gap just extends out as we see the driver now getting back underway.
I think that was a separate driver heading off down at the first corner. So some more incidents there down at Billy's Blind as we head on to the second lap of racing. There's a move down the inside at the Horseshoe from the number 56 as they're trying to make their way through the field. 3 wide there through the Horseshoe. Driver's still scrapping over the same piece of tarmac. But yeah, we saw that incident on the first lap there, heading out of the right-hander up towards Top Bend. It's such a difficult one because you're absolutely pitting it through that the right-hander. If you try and hold it around the outside, you get shuffled onto the grass, and it is still a little bit dewy out there on the grass this morning. You touch that grass, you're a one-way ticket to the tyre barrier, as we found out there on the first lap. But more scrapping going on here through the first part of lap number 3.
Yeah, UCLA there, nice move down the inside of that first hairpin. The door was pretty much left open for them, and they sived their way back through past Birmingham A. Birmingham A under pressure now. Sheffield C, Liverpool A on the scene here, as well as we see Sheffield getting past as overtaking other yellows there coming in for UCLB. There is a yellow flag section of the circuit. Not sure if there's a driver off at the moment. In fact, I think there is. No, potentially. Just some barrier repairs. Either way, drivers need to make sure they're not under full racing conditions. And there we have a couple of penalties coming in for Oxford Brooks B as well for the same crime.
Oh dear, first penalties of the day then. Hopefully not of many. Hopefully everyone will be respecting that as we head on through the racing today. As we say that, I think there might be some more coming through. Let's ignore that as we carry on with the racing then. Huddersfield still only with a very small gap at the sharp end of the order, and here is that battle at the sharp end. Nottingham Trent A trying to hold on to second place as they're absolutely hounded by the number 4 of Southampton A. We saw them battling on the first lap. Clearly it worked out pretty well then as they head round the final corner and carry on onto another lap. More yellow flags there at the final corner, so overtaking opportunity lost, but that's an interesting overtaking opportunity to the outside then as they head down to Billy's Blind. He's got it round the outside. Wow. Nottingham Trent A up and under goes Southampton A. It's going to take both of them. They're going to be side by side there through the hairpin. Round they go across the grass goes the 15 and Nottingham Trent A. It's all kicked off and Southampton A are in the lead.
Mighty stuff from Southampton there, just recognising the two cars to front, slowing each other down with that battling and finding a small gap, going for it there, as we suspect likes of Huddersfield, Southampton potentially, or Huddersfield, Nottingham Trent A potentially feeling a little bit short-changed there, although we do have a contact warning coming in for Huddersfield, and we're back to our yellow flag part of the lap.
Indeed, well, that all kicked off there at the start of that lap. Clearly we got some issues there down at the final corner. Yellow flag has been out for quite a while down there, so one of the main overtaking opportunities of the circuit is lost then for the drivers as they've all settled themselves out. It really has worked out well there for Southampton A. They've cleared off by nearly a second already ahead of the Huddersfield A car. They managed to relinquish themselves of first place, but they've settled there in second place once again, so not all is lost then for the Huddersfield driver. And if I remember by the race suit, I'm pretty sure this is one of the drivers who was doing particularly well at GYG, so watch out for them at the front of the order. Currently in the lead of the Clubmans anyway in this race, but now with quite a few drivers waiting in the wings behind them. UWEA now in third place, Loughborough D in fourth, Nottingham Trent A slipping down to fifth in all of that. Of course they were the ones going across the grass there at the S's, as around the outside that's going to come the inside there down to Billy's Blind, move down the inside from the 48 of UWEA and trying the up and under there. A Loughborough D as well, trying to force their way through. They just about managed to do so. Aggressive stuff from the 31, but they've got the move done, and now UCLA want a piece of the pie as well.
They do indeed, working their way up through the order quite nicely are UCLA. In fact, I say working their way up quite nicely. They've returned back to where they started this race early on. But Huddersfield A, this looked like it could be a great day for them so far. Yes, they're currently in P2, but this will be a fairly strong result for them still. They're in the Clubmans, but they've not quite had the best results, so to speak, for a couple of rounds. So this could be a good way to end the season for them.
The difficulty is as well, I think we might have potentially some ineligible drivers, which we never want to mention about as well.
Yes.
When you see the Loughborough D team flying up to third place, you maybe think, is that how it should be? Anyway, we'll try and keep you updated. Of course, that's going to affect the points through the race, and that then affects the points by the end of the round as well. So we'll try and keep you updated as best we can with the information that we have to us. But look at that then, 21st place to 9th already for Oxford Brookes A, and they've just set the fastest lap of this race. Watch out for the number 8 coming through the order. Of course, one of the championship contenders leading the championship going into today, and clearly race 1 going pretty well.
Yeah, indeed it is. Logan was saying on the grid, you know what, I'm just going to have to send it, and that strategy, it's always questionable at first race of the day when someone says, I'm just going to send it everywhere. You always panic a little bit, but it seems to be working. Up into 6th position for Oxford Brookes A now, flying along, putting themselves in a really good stead in this championship fight. Of course, only 1 point separating them and Cardiff, so they need to make every single race count now today.
Just getting a little bit confused there. Who is the number 49? Sheffield C. I was going to say, that is definitely Ocean Bates who's driving the 49 there. Ocean Bates, welcome back to the BUKC, Ocean.
Say, yeah.
I mean, Ocean was Manchester A's golden boy for a number of years, was Ocean. Fantastic race. I mean, when I used to race against him, if I saw that helmet with all the teeth on, I'd be like, go through, Ocean. I think I'll just follow you for a while. I know you're a lot faster than me. When he's back in, he's going to be ineligible in this race for the 49 of Sheffield C, but a serious peddler here in the Club 100 carts and doing well. There is the number 8. Logan trying to find his way, continuing through the pack, and he has made it stick. The 15 and 56 then going side by side. Difficult place to go side by side, but they made it work anyway. Oxford Brookes A then up into 4th place already. We're not even 7 minutes through this race. What a race so far from Logan Parker.
It is indeed there. As you saw him heading down the inside, just on the edge of grip. The cars had nothing more to give him. But yeah, you can tell Ocean's here because the Ocean Beach fan club is very much in the YouTube comments. By the Ocean Beach fan club, I mean Yusuf bin Sahel. That's how I knew Ocean was in this race, was just by clicking onto those comments there. So hello to everyone watching along on YouTube and Facebook for this, the final round of the BUKC season. Sheffield C setting a new fastest lap of this race, a 40.875. We're not going to see those blistering times coming in this early on in the day, as it should be warming up a little bit later on. Drivers going to find a bit more of a rhythm. The track's going to get a little bit better potentially, but we're still seeing some impressive times so far.
We are indeed consistently improving. A number of the drivers out there. Yellow flag once again down into the hairpin in the middle part of the circuit, so clearly a few more drivers struggling with the conditions and going off there at different parts of the circuit. Good morning as well to Timmy in the live chat, says, is the Drivers' Championship also on this stream? Yes, it is. We'll be going to a short lunch break later on and then into the Drivers' Championship this afternoon, but at the moment we focus on the mains as they head through the first couple of corners. That's the 56 of UCLA and then the 15 of Nottingham Trent A battling. There goes Ocean Beach, bit of contact there through the S's. Good hold, sir. Ocean holds the slide and heads on through into another position then. That's going to drop Nottingham Trent down to 7th place now. They've done well after the battles earlier on to resettle themselves there in the top 10, but losing a couple more places here as they head through on another lap of this race. There's Liverpool A as well pressing on well. They're closing in behind the Sheffield C driver as well. They're in 8th place, and there is the number 8 of Oxford Brookes A as well. 4 and a bit seconds off the lead then. UWEA, who are now in 2nd place, 1.7 seconds off of Southampton A. So making that overtake when they did, reshuffling the drivers in behind them and sort of everyone going off in behind them has really helped out for Southampton A. They're pressing on really nicely in this one.
They are indeed. 1.6 seconds, a nice comfortable margin that they're going to try and build up upon as we head later into this race. By no means it's not insurmountable. I mean, anyone could soon close up that gap. We've still got more than half race distance to go, but it's a nice start to the day for Southampton. Brookes A still flying along a 40.834, new fastest lap of this race, though it looks to be they're in a bit of a battle for that with Loughborough C. Loughborough C with a purple Sector 1 here, which you can see yourselves on our new Alpha timing page, which has been refreshed for the first half of this year. Results.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC/live, and you'll be able to jump in on exactly what we can see as well in terms of what's going out on track for everyone on track at the moment.
It's a great little update, lots of new things that have been added, so a big shout out to all of the Alpha Timing crew for sorting that out. It looks as well, I can actually we got a driver off there down at the first corner of Billy's Blind. They're in the Dan Holland race suit, so clearly an experienced driver behind the wheel of that car. Couldn't quite spot who that was, but we'll see as they come through the order. Reeve is loving the analytics there on on his screen, on the timing screen. I was going to say, looks like I can scroll down all the penalties as well, so that's actually really helpful for us throughout the racing here. Not that we're expecting lots of penalties, not that we're expecting it, no. so we have had 2 come through though. An ABC bump and pass for Leeds D, an ABC takeout for Sheffield C. Oh dear, Ocean, what's happened there? And then an overtaking on the yellows for Oxford Brooks D as well. But look at this train heading through the S's. What's this? Headed up by the number 10 then. That's Birmingham A in 11th place. So we got 11th down to about, what's that, 19th in a train?
That is a mighty big. Well, I'm going to let you say you're back here, so you can say gaggle. And
I love that word.
Yeah, it's your favourite, isn't it? I'd like to use fleet. Come up with suggestions. Drop in the comments, folks, what words we can use to describe the huge amount of carts we've got on these pack grids here for BUKC today. As we have a bump and pass penalty coming in for Huddersfield A. This race started off so well for them, but quickly is turning into a bit of a race to forget, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah, sadly slip into the bottom end of the top 10 now, and that will drop them even further outside of the top 10 when all is said and done. This battle continuing then through the S's. Big move there from the number 47, Imperial B, making themselves known there on the inside line, holding the defensive line there as they head down into the hairpin. Drivers trying all sorts of different lines. Of course, there is the usual racing line, but this early on in the morning, you can find grip in odd places around here at Clay Pigeon. So drivers testing out where that grip is found, working for some, not working for others. And now heading up this train, looks to be the 61 of Leeds D then. So a couple of drivers have broken away from this one. Just as I say that, Leeds D, ABC, bump and pass penalty for the number 61. Side by side across the line there in the middle of the pack as they head down towards Billy's Blind once again. Big move there down the inside. That was the 16 of Warwick A. Up and under though goes the number 5, shuffles them out wide, and that is Cardiff A making their way through the order. I think that's potentially up to 17th or 16th place now for them. So moving through the order as well as Oxford Brooks A, just not quite as quickly as their championship rivals.
No, they've not been able to capitalise on those opportunities as much, but we're going to have more opportunities for Cardiff A later on through the day, so we'll see how that battle hots up. Imperial B, though, not Imperial B, sorry, the number 16 cart of Warwick A. A bit of a charge at the moment, making up a few positions on the last lap. And as we have further confirmation, Andrew Mather saying a big shout out to Will Alderson for the work going on the Alpha Live timing system. I must apologise to Andrew Mather this early on. I broke the spreadsheet to do. I was filling it out, getting ready to look at all the championship permutations, and then I broke it. So we're just going to go for good old, it's a close championship. Let's enjoy some racing as we have a bit of communication between some drivers, shall we say, between the number 47 and the number 10, the Imperial B and Birmingham A. As Birmingham A get ahead, but Imperial B deciding not quite pleased with how that was done.
Yeah, I mean, Birmingham A did sort of send it there into the hairpin and go, well, I'm just going to go here. If you turn in, we're just going to crash. So that's kind of what happened. And it might be a bump and pass penalty coming through for Birmingham A. We'll wait and see, though. One just come through for Bristol A then. And with drivers scrapping like they are in this first race of the day, it's understandable why. And still getting a little bit frustrated there. I think that was still the number 47 of Imperial B. So dropping down in this little gaggle as they head through this this on the lap. But a bit frustrated with the rest of the drivers around them, it seems.
If you say it like that, it sounds like you just got it as a button on a soundboard, so we can just drop it in whenever we want, as we see.
I'm not actually here. They just put me on a soundboard and they just press buttons throughout the day.
Yeah, Coventry C then in the midst of battle with Birmingham A. We see now Coventry actually getting past Birmingham A at this point, but they were side by side at the start of this lap. UCLA, meanwhile, new fastest lap of the race, with a 40.6 we can back on to that start finish not so straight and run into the first corner, and there we can see that is going to be the number 16 of Warwick A putting pressure on Birmingham A, having a look down the inside. I have to think better of it though, and we look further back ever so slightly at least to another pack, but we jump back on board with Coventry C now as we have a couple more contact, not warnings, penalties coming, and that is for Warwick A this time around as well.
Indeed, yeah, there have been. I mean, we said we don't want to see too many penalties. There's been absolutely loads in this first race.
I don't see that can't have happened because there's Jaffa cakes and beer in the commentary box, so that can't have happened.
You mean the beverage of choice?
Yes. I didn't say brand name.
Yeah, indeed. That actually didn't happen. We're going to relinquish that penalty post-race.
Yes.
For them, so that's fine. We're obviously joking. We have no idea what's going on out there on track. We just sit here and shout about things here in the comms box. Another move there from Cardiff A. That's Miles Dawn behind the wheel of the Cardiff A car there on the number 5. Gets through on the number 10. And am I not mistaken, that's Birmingham A that they've just overtaken in for 15th place. So continuing to try and cut through the order. Still just over 10 minutes left to go in this race. There's more drivers going side by side there round the horseshoe. That's the 98 of Bath D trying to get past Imperial B. And like we often see in karting, but particularly here in the Club 100, you get that negative momentum. You start dropping back through the pack and it just gets worse and worse and worse. It's so difficult to stop that momentum, stay where you are and try pressing forward again. And we've seen that really here with Imperial. I mean, they've dropped 1 or 2 places, got frustrated and maybe started overdriving a little bit. More people started overtaking. You start getting more frustrated and it's just a continual cycle of dropping down the order. And sadly for Imperial, that's what's happened here in race number 1.
Yeah, it is a shame. We've seen a couple of races not quite going the way that I suspect the drivers would have wanted, but for some other drivers it has been a remarkable progression through the field. As we look down at the mid-pack action here, Loughborough C in the midst of battle with Sheffield C, but Oxford BUKC now running in third, 40.5, just getting faster and faster by the lap. And Southampton, of course, starting 7th on the grid. They've worked their way up into first place. So a mighty effort from plenty of our drivers at the top end here. Even Sheffield C, who we were just looking at briefly then, started 24th on the grid.
Impressive stuff. Of course, have got a penalty and also we think are ineligible as well in this race. But still pressing on well is Ocean, trying to make the move stick there around the outside of Horseshoe, gets it done. Another driver follows him through. So that's Sheffield C and Loughborough C then through on Loughborough D. In a full battle for 4th place. It is headed up by UCLA. Like you mentioned, Oxford BUKC with a new fastest lap of the race, down the 40.5s now, about 9/10 of a second off of UWEA then, but again, looking at that gap between Southampton in the lead and UWE in 2nd place, it's just continued to get larger and larger. I don't think we've seen a fastest lap in this race from Southampton, if I'm not mistaken, if not in the first few minutes anyway. But they've just been consistently up there on pace. They've had some nice clear air out the front, have pressed on since making that overtake, and really a textbook drive from the driver, the number 4. So fair play, good start to the day for Southampton A. Maybe I shouldn't say that too early with the commentary curve. Still 8 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen, so sorry in advance to Southampton.
Yeah, as you say, they're not out and out fastest out on track, but they're damn near closer as Brooks A. Yeah, we see a couple of penalties coming in there, but Brooks A, a 40.54, and then Southampton A, a 40.63, so less than a tenth in terms of their outright fastest lap. So Southampton up there in terms of pace and have a penalty coming in for the Liverpool A squad there. ABC takeout, which is not one that you want. That is going to tumble you back quite a few positions, and perhaps that's just because they didn't get enough sleep last night as they were trying to break into their own hotel. Either way, we continue on. 8 minutes to go in this race. A couple more curb warnings coming in as well. The curbs here, not the most forgiving on the karts, are they, at certain points in the circuit? It can be some that are quite nice to kind of wash out on wide too, but then you've got those tyre barriers which approach you quite quickly.
They do. The tyre barriers are pretty close here. Let's hope that no one from Travelodge Yeovil is listening to the stream this morning.
Other hotels are available, may not be Traveller.
No, yeah, it was one of the other ones. But yeah, like you mentioned, the tyre barrier is really, really close here. You make a mistake, you go wide off the circuit, you just get drawn in by the grass. And often the track sort of falls away from you as you come off onto the grass as well. As there, don't worry, that's not a stricken kart. That's Nicky Richardson just giving a few places there out on circuit, testing the karts to make sure that the Club 100 karts are as even as possible as the drivers head out into racing action. But there are some forgiving exit curbs here. There are some less forgiving curbs on the inside of the corner, but the drivers, the main point that was brought up by JB, Mr. John Vigor, who runs Club 100 in the drivers briefing, was the runoff out of the final corner as you head onto the not so straight start-finish straight. It's really, really easy to let it just hang out wide, use all of the runoff there, and you can carry so much more speed. But rule is 2 wheels over the white line, absolutely fine. All 4 wheels over, you're going to get yourself a track limit penalty. So don't want to be doing that. It does gain you a bit of time, but you're dicing with the devil there if you're flirting with all 4 wheels off. So best to just avoid it and try and stay out of trouble. And
by the devil, I mean the wrath of JV.
Exactly.
JV is going to look onwards and be very disapproving indeed, as we see number 8 of Oxford BUKC under some pressure here from UWEA now. As you see them side by side. Sorry, that's actually the 57. That's a lap to Carter.
Indeed, they've been coming through the back markers for like a good few minutes now, to be fair. So, I mean, we've said it's a bit of a shorter track, so a lot shorter than GYG that we were at last time. So more expected here than what we saw at GYG, but still coming through the back markers after about 15 minutes in this race. So impressive pace from the drivers at the front of the order. And this is where, as you so kindly showed, it becomes a little bit difficult for us to try and pick out who's actually battling who. Still just over 3 seconds between the 2 leaders. Gap has closed ever so slightly between UWEA and Oxford BUKC in 2nd and 3rd place. Down to about 6/10 then as we head on to another lap of this one. But as we head on through, an interesting first race of the day. I mean, we had some issues at the start for a few drivers, but it's been, for a BUKC race anyway, relatively tame from about 10 minutes or so in.
It has indeed. Let's keep that up for the rest of the morning, and certainly let's definitely try and keep that up in the afternoon. But yeah, it should be a good day's worth of racing. After just having one eye though, I was trying to figure out where our University of Life carter was. He's not on our timing system, so I suspect that might have been a bit of a test or something like that. But we jumped the cart back in. That's a shame, because they wouldn't have done very well in the championship, to be fair. In terms of the other universities, they've scored a couple more points.
Just a few. I mean, they've been here for the entirety of the season, so that does often help. But yeah, great to see so many people travelling down to Clay Pigeon Raceway for this one. Of course, it's a bit of a trip for quite a few drivers down here, down very, very, very south of England. So good to see drivers making it down. I mean, I think a few teams from properly up north might have sold their seats. Not to point any fingers at anyone, but
I won't mention anything. Liverpool.
But anyway, still great to have full grid. So like we say, like 36 drivers on a grid is just ridiculous in kart racing. So it makes it very exciting for everyone out there on circuit and us here in the commentary box. Gap has closed again between second and third place, the 48 and the 8. There they are, right on the tail then as we head on to a new lap. It's down to 2 tenths now between the 48 and the 8, and they're closing in on a couple of back markers as well. Up and under goes the 8, tries to open the door there at the S's. It's not quite going to happen just yet though.
It won't indeed, but the fight is very much on now as Oxford BUKC has a look down the inside. A bit of a favourite move of Logan there, and he gets that move secured and completed now as we continue on with BUKC now running in second on the road. Another penalty there for Huddersfield, a previous race leaders, as we see a bit of disagreement in the cart there, as a bit of untoward contact potentially. We'll have to see if anything does come a cropper from that.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I think the UWE knew that they were losing the position there. Of course, driver coming through as they're getting through a few back markers. You know it's going to be for full position, that one going up and under. See if they can get past these back markers here to the S's. They put a cart between themselves and Oxford BUKC, which does assist as they head down into the hairpin. Then the 32 thinks about a re-overtake there on our second place driver, but then gets a good entry to the corner. Does Oxford BUKC, gets the move done, and now finds himself right on the back of UWE once again. Now they'll obviously be feeling a little bit frustrated with how UWE managed to get their way back through into second place, but you've got to leave that one to the stewards as there's a spin down into the final corner. Of course, you're under heavy load there as you head through that right-hander, really wrestling with the cart and wrestling with the amount of grip that you've got. But one driver finding the edge of grip there is trying up and under. Then there's Oxford BUKC. They are going to get alongside, side by side into the S's. Oxford BUKC have second place.
They do indeed, and this move's been threatened for a few laps now, but is it actually secured this time? We'll have to see. UWE though seem to have a bit of a response here, especially when we head through into this sector of the lap, running through towards the end of sector 2 in just a moment. But it looks to be that Oxford BUKC just about keeping those out in front now.
Yeah, just about. They've got the move done now, it seems, for second place. Having a look a bit further down the top 10, Loughborough C and Loughborough D nose to tail. The two Loughborough teams having a little battle for 6th place. And then we've got, what's that, 9 seconds from 7th to 8th place. That's quite a sizable gap here round Clay Pigeon. Is continuing to battle there is Ocean Bates on the number 49, battling with was that the Loughborough C car or was that a back marker? Anyway, they've managed to get past nonetheless. But we were saying about Huddersfield, as I've just mentioned, that they've just been overtaken for 9th place, but they dropped down a little bit earlier on in the race. They've got those penalties which can be added afterwards, but they've resettled well there at the bottom end of the top 10. Still a decent race to start the day, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's been plenty of movement throughout the field, so few drivers are going to be taking home a few more points than expected now. I was just about to say Leeds D, well, what a nice charge through the field for them. 35th on the grid, up into 12th, but they just had an ABC ×3 penalty and then a black flag as well. So perhaps not been a race to really discuss for Leeds D, and another team that brought us not only...
Stop mentioning this.
Not only Jaff's cake, but homemade banana bread, which has been opened every now and again by the crew, and it smells incredible in here. But it appears to be that the commentator's curse is still in effect.
Oh dear, they're never going to give us anything anymore. Why do you keep bringing this up? Sadly though, it looks as though Liverpool A just lost a couple of places. Exeter A and Warwick A getting through, then shuffling Liverpool down into 10th place. As we head into the final minute then of this first race of the day for round number 7 of the British Universities Karting Championship. It's over a 4-second gap now in the lead for Southampton A. They've already taken 2 race wins so far this season. This is going to be number 3. Now that still won't put them as the top number of race winners so far this year. That's Cardiff A with 6 race wins throughout this year. How impressive from Cardiff A. They come into this round 1 point behind Oxford Brookes A as we head through this one. Oxford Brookes looking to start with a 2nd place, so a great start to the day. I don't think I've seen any penalties come through for Brookes A in this one, so a great start for them. Cardiff A from the back of the grid, to be fair, 15th though. That's going to have to be a sort of a half banker one for them so far. They're going to be hoping for some better results, and if they can't get better than the 15th, then they might struggle here to take the win in the championship. Of course, if you don't know, throughout a round, each team has 4 drivers, so each team will be in 4 of the 6 races, and out of those 4, 3 of them count towards the round score, and then across the whole season of the 7 rounds, all 6 of the 7 will count towards the season. So that's how it all sort of works itself out. But times hit 0 then. Here is Southampton A. What a brilliant race.
Yeah, it has been. They worked their way up through the order, just controlled the race quite nicely from the front there on, picking up a couple more tenths here and there, gaining a bit of extra time, and just a nice, easy race to start the day's action. As we see them head back onto the start-finish straight down the tram lines, they celebrate a race victory there for Southampton, followed closely by Oxford Brookes A with the fastest lap to finish as they try to close up, but it's a great drive for Brookes A. UWE A, UCLA, Sheffield C, Loughborough C and D coming home together then, our first 7. And then, as we say, we have a bit of a wait from our top 7 and down to a few more carts coming across the line next. But it's Warwick A who finish ahead of Exeter A, Liverpool A rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, Warwick snatching that 8th place away from Exeter on the last lap there. Good movements there through the order from Warwick A. But if I do remember correctly, I mean, yeah, Warwick were one of the ones that gave us some lovely offerings, but sadly I think they have got a penalty there in that first race of the day. So, of course, all results are about to show you on screen. Very, very provisional. Of course, like we mentioned earlier, if you want the full proper results, head over to results.alphatime.co.uk for those. But let's have a look at the full results then from race number 1.
It's Southampton A, Oxford Brookes A, UWE A, UCLA, Sheffield C, Loughborough C and D, Warwick A, Exeter A, Liverpool A, our top 10. Then it's Huddersfield A, Coventry C, Oxford Brookes B and Cambridge A. Before we move on to Trent A, Cardiff A, Imperial B, Sheffield A, Birmingham A, Bath D, our top 20. Manchester A, UCLan A, Reading B, Portsmouth A, Bristol A, Cambridge B, Oxford Brookes D. And then we have Bath B, Bristol B, Loughborough B, it's all the Bs, Derby A, Lancaster B, UCL B, Oxford A, Leeds D and Bristol C are 36 kart results, provisionally at least, for race 1 today.
There's a B?
Sorry. Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
I have great news. I think we're ready to go down to Piers now, so enjoy hearing some feedback from our drivers.
Yes, down here, going to grab a word with some of our drivers. Everyone just coming in. I want to grab a word with 2 people. First of all, of course, our winner Southampton because, well, they won the race. But also, I want to grab a word with Mr. Send It of Oxford Brookes A, right behind, going from 21st to 2nd place. Let's grab a word with our winner. How was a good race?
Hello, yeah, good race. I think it's one of my last races in BUKC, so nice to end on a win.
Absolutely, indeed. And are you going to be racing this afternoon in the Drivers' Champs as well?
Yeah, of course. Won a few years ago at Landau, so hoping to get another title this time.
Ooh. In the lights or heavies?
In the lights. So I'm in the heavies today, though. So.
Oh, you're in the heavies today?
Clean sweep. Yeah.
I'm not going to be racing you then.
No, maybe in the super final.
We'll see if I get that far. Winner Southampton B, but also the driver we heard before the race, Logan. You said you were going to send it, mate. The stamp was licked. First class special delivery, 2nd place on the road.
Well, it's 3rd on the road.
Well, yeah, but 2nd place I think after penalties.
Oh, I'll take that. I mean, I got sent on the first lap, which wasn't great, but after that, through the traffic we went.
Good way to start your day for Oxford Brookes A, trying to get that title back that you haven't had for a couple of years or so. Of course, you were, was it 8th last year?
Yeah.
In a good position so far.
Well, it's much better than last year, thankfully, so hopefully we can keep going with the pace I've shown and take the title home.
Have you got a teammate in this race coming up as well?
I can't remember.
Can't remember, but do you reckon your teammates can emulate what you've done?
I reckon they can, yeah.
Well, keep an eye on that. Oxford Brookes A, Logan did a great race there, 21st to 2nd place, 3rd place on the road, I think it was in the end, but great result for him. Drivers just weighing up. This, I believe, was a lightweight race, so 75 kilos, if I'm not mistaken. Let's grab a word with this driver here. Hello, who are you? Oh. You're dropping your lead. You're going to need to pick that up in a sec. All right, we can chat to you for a second. There's a. I'll stop your helmet rolling on the floor. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
I'm Christopher Parry, racing for Manchester A.
Manchester. Let's have a look down here. Right, I don't see you at the top. I'm scrolling. Manchester, that's all right, 21st.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think I started 17th, 18th, so I was very much in and amongst the wars in the mid-pack.
Were you part of the first lap incident?
I was the beneficiary of some of the first lap incidents that were going on. But yeah, good fun. It's my first season of outdoor kart racing, so yeah, a fun way to end.
Bit different to indoor karting, right?
Definitely. Yeah, much more slidey, much more difficult.
Well, a lot of people who do the BUKC, they haven't done a huge amount of outdoor karting before. What would you say to anyone watching at home who thinks they might want to get involved in future and never done outdoor karting before?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say give it a go, especially if it is with the BUKC. Certainly my university, I know a lot of universities have really good motorsport societies that will kind of get you involved and can kind of, show you the ropes. So, yeah, I definitely recommend it too.
And what did you have for breakfast this morning?
For breakfast, I had half a ham and cheese sandwich. I'm going to have the other half now.
There you go. That's a man who's got his nutrition on lock. He wants to make sure that he keeps it, level throughout the day. That was Manchester A. Great to hear from a driver that's joined from indoor karting and is now doing and enjoying their outdoor karting. Hello, who are you? Who are you racing for?
I'm Lewis. I'm racing for Portsmouth A.
You had a good one in that one.
Did I?
Did you?
I had no idea where I came.
Earlier on, I thought you had a fastest lap at one point. Let me have a look. Portsmouth. You didn't at the end. Portsmouth A. Actually, I'm scrolling quite a long way down. Portsmouth, is that you, number 30?
Yeah.
24th.
That's not bad. I started 22nd. No, 26th actually.
+2.
Yeah. First time here.
Yeah.
So, I know it was different. I felt like the tracks are really grippy, and I expected the tyres to be like a lot less grippy because they're brand new. But
brand new tyres generally are pretty grippy.
Really, I thought I would get out there because they were like completely brand new and they wouldn't have anything on there. I thought they'd just be like rocks. I'd be skating out there, but after like the first couple of corners, it was fine.
Yeah, well, you've clearly not driven on slick tyres a huge amount before brand new ones.
No, not at all.
Well, basically, slick tyres, when they're brand new, really, really slippy until you get the slight shining layer off, and then they're quickest in that first heat cycle. So you know that for next time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's my first season in the Club 100, so I've got a lot more to learn.
What excuse do you have for not winning that race?
I'm not very good.
You know what, as racing driver excuses go, that's pretty good, right? You better get yourself weighed, because I'm holding up the next race. Right, race 1 down. We're now looking ahead to race number 2 of the day. I think it's a heavyweight race, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to drop a word with some of, yes, it is a heavyweight race. I can see some more gravitationally enhanced drivers coming out on the grid. Let's grab a word with this man here, Mr. Orange helmet with the love hearts. This looks like a bespoke helmet job.
It is a very bespoke helmet job. It's Marshall's Orange. There you go.
Marshall's Orange. Did you do it yourself?
Yes, we did it ourselves, didn't we?
We, come on in. Who's we? What's your name? What's your name?
My name's Joe.
Who's you? Who are you?
I'm Emma, his girlfriend.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Who are you racing for today? Number 48, that would be UE, right?
Yes, UWEA.
UEA?
UEA or UWE, depends how you want to put it.
How's your year gone so far?
It could have been better, to be fair. Could have been better. About where we thought we'd be, I think, unfortunately.
Which is?
Near the back.
Near the back, that's all good. And I'm going to grab a word. How is it going to do in this race?
It's not bad, so I think probably quite well, but he's starting last.
By the way.
Well, you can only go forward.
There we go, exactly.
Well, actually, you can stay the same. We'll see. Anyway, we've got a man waiting for an interview here. Who are you?
I'm Max. I'm also UWEA.
Oh, you were in the first one?
Yes, I just finished. I think I was third in the end. I'm not sure.
One moment. Third on the road?
Third on the road. Okay.
Well, no, wait. Was it second on the road, third on...
No, I got overtaken with about 3 minutes to go.
Did you have a penalty?
Not that I saw, no. So
not that you saw?
Because I was in second for most of the race, and I kept checking the board. I was just thinking, just keep it clean, just keep it clean.
A good result for you, though?
Yeah, I'm well happy with that. It matches, we're matching my best result of third at Buckmore.
Well, congratulations. I'm going to grab a word with our University of Life driver. This is for those of you who are not aware of the University of Life, Will, what is the University of Life? Talk to us.
University of Life is for people who have raced in the BUKC but are too old, really, to be part of university these days. So, yeah, when I graduated Imperial in 2003, a long time ago, I became part of the University of Life, if you know what I mean. And so we have these two guys here. This is Andy Stobart and Howden Haynes. So Howden here was originally the man who invented the BUKC. It was called the IUKC, Inter-Universities Karting Championship. And Andy then took it on for a couple of years with Cardiff, and then I came along with Club 100, and that's when it became...
Here we are.
And here we are.
I'm going to grab a word with Andy ahead of the race. Andy, I heard that you haven't driven a Club 100 car much, if ever.
I've not driven a Club 100 car before. I have driven a clay pigeon a long time ago, like before there was the pit.
Well, the good news is the circuit hasn't changed even slightly in about the last 50 years, so...
Yeah, that's a good bit. I've changed a bit in that time period, so...
Just got faster, I'm sure.
I don't think so. Somehow, I'm going for the reverse grid.
Oh, yes, the infamous reverse grid that we'll see at some point. Anyway, what do you reckon your chances are of a win in this one?
Absolutely no chance whatsoever. I will finish.
You will finish?
I will finish.
There we go. Well, that's good to hear. Andy, Howard, we'll see you... Is it Howard? Howden, sorry, my mistake. We'll see you later on. Howden's going out later on. Let's grab away with some of the drivers towards the front of the grid. I think we've got Surrey B, Oxford Brookes B, Oxford Brookes A going from 3rd place in this one. We just saw them go from 21st to... 2nd, 3rd, can't remember off the top of my head. Looks like it was 2nd actually, so they've had a good start to the day. We'll try not to make it an Oxford Brookes only stream, but anyway, let's grab a word with our pole sitter, Surrey B. Where's Surrey B? You start in this one.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Gerard.
Gerard. Good. Gerard?
No, Gerard.
Great. Sorry, it's the helmet, it's quite muffled.
Yeah.
What's your chances of a good result in this one?
100% I'm winning this race.
Need I say more? There you go. There we go. We've heard enough. Exeter going from the outside of row 2. Exeter currently... you need a good day today, don't you?
Yeah, we do need a good day. We're 8th at the moment with like a bit of a gap in front and a bit of a gap behind. We're sort of in no man's land, really. But if we pull something out the bag, which we haven't done in the first race, yeah, I don't know. Well, I think we'll probably be 8th by the end of the day.
Tactically taking a dropped race first thing of the day.
Yeah. Nah, I reckon it will be counting. We've got someone starting from 33rd who's like relatively new. But they'll be fine. Yeah.
We'll see. Right. I wanted to grab a word with our Oxford Brookes driver, Seb. Well, I'll let Seb do his pedals first because it's important that he can reach the pedals. Seb, what was breakfast this morning, mate?
What was it?
Take a seat, mate.
Chocolate swirl.
A chocolate swirl.
Talk more about your presentating, Piers.
My presentating, yes.
Talk to Rain. I was watching TV, and I was like, I recognise that voice, and I was like, nah, that can't be him. I'm on your Instagram account.
There I am.
There you are. But I didn't get a shout out though.
No, apologies, Seb, but it's just, I was a bit busy talking about F3 and F2. If I had the chance, I would have.
This is the pinnacle. You said this. You said it yourself.
I've said it many times before. This is the pinnacle of motorsport, and doing the BUKC, everyone sees me, and then some of the smaller championships like F3 and F2 occasionally need someone to stand in, and I did that. What did your teammate have for breakfast this morning?
What, Logan?
Yeah.
Weetabix.
Lots of Weetabix. He had a great race. Right, I'm getting told to hurry up because we're going for race 2 of the day, heavyweights. Back to you in the comms box.
Oh yes, we're ready for the pinnacle of motorsport to continue here for race number 2. Thank you for that, Piers. Chatting to a few of our drivers. Looks like an issue for the number 2 of Bath A already. Might have to change kart here. Let's run you through the grid then for this one. Surrey B and Loughborough B are on the front row, with Oxford Brookes A and Exeter A on row 2. Then Cardiff A and Southampton B are there on row number 3. Bath A and Liverpool A on row 4, with Lancaster B and Bath B rounding up the top 10. They're on row 5. They're followed by Coventry A and Bath D on row number 6. Row 7 has Oxford Brookes D and Reading C. Then it's Oxford Brookes B and Nottingham A on row 8. Imperial B and Loughborough C there on row number 9. And then rounding out the top 20 on row number 10, Edinburgh A and UClan A. Then it's Loughborough D and Birmingham A there on row number 11. Then Bath C and Cambridge A, followed by Bristol B, Manchester A, Sheffield B, Nottingham Trent A. They're rounding out your top 30. The grid positioning I missed there, sorry, were Leeds D and Loughborough A there, 23rd and 24th. Portsmouth A and Bristol A there on row 16. Then Liverpool B, Southampton C, Cambridge B, and UWE A. And then, I think, same as last time, Uni Alive there, rounding out the 37 karts on the grid. And looks as though we will have a driver for the Uni of Life in this one. Let's see how they can do from the back of the order. But as the drivers carry on round them for their warm-up laps here for race number 2, the first heavyweight race of the day, like it was mentioned on the grid there with Piers, a number of championship contenders up here at the sharp end of the order in this one. Oxford Brookes A, 3rd place on the grid. Cardiff A, 5th on the grid. Bath A, 7th on the grid. This could be an exciting one.
Yeah, it should be very much so. Cardiff A, last time out, GYG, brilliant day for them, wasn't it? 2 round wins, round 5 and round 6. They carry that momentum forwards. It's going to be so close between them and Brookes A. Brookes A tailing off ever so slightly, but when I say tailing off, I mean like 3rd and 2nd instead of another round win for them. So Brookes A versus Cardiff A is going to be the story of the day, I suspect.
Yeah, incredibly impressive at GYG for Cardiff A. Consistency is key across motorsport, but particularly across the BUKC when you've got multiple drivers' scores counting towards the round score and then towards the championship. Consistency is absolutely necessary here to mount a championship charge. But I don't remember the last time that I've seen a double round win in the BUKC, especially at such a tricky track such as GYG. But like we said on the stream of the day, bit of home advantage maybe for the Cardiff team, despite it being like a 4.5 hour drive away.
Yeah, I think this is a much closer circuit for them than GYG is. GYG, of course, being my home track, not the 250 miles that I had to commute yesterday with the Liverpool squad. It was such a long drive, we entertained ourselves with a fuel economy race. Trying to see who could get the most MPG. That's just how bored we were by the end of it. Either way, yellow flags out, of course, as we bring an end to our practice runs and start to get ready to form up. Might take a bit of formation, of course. That back car's having an issue out on a track. Not quite sure if they have to swap carts in the end, but it looks like they did.
Yeah, they did. They peeled out of the pit lane after a couple of laps of warm-up. So a brand new kart isn't going to be as warm as the rest of them. And also, you've not got as much time with those practice laps to get a feel for it either. So a bit of a challenge then for Bath A heading into this one. But I'm sure they'll be able to deal with it. Absolutely no problem at all as the drivers head round 2 by 2, then continuing on their warm-up laps. We've got Surrey B on pole position for this one. They had a good couple of results at GYG last time out. They were very impressive around the North Welsh track.
Yeah.
And we'll wait and see how they do today here from pole position.
Yeah, by far their strongest rounds, or strongest day at least, of the season for Surrey B. Doing a good job in terms of top scores for the clubmans there. Hopefully they can carry that momentum forward.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Not too long to wait, I don't think. Looks as though the drivers are all getting ready in 2 by 2 formation then. Hand goes up. I think that's a positive hand, a positive gesture for Let's Go Racing then. 2 by 2 formation for the first start of the heavyweights here for round number 7. Looks as though we're good for a race start, Reeve.
We will be indeed. It is going to be Surrey B versus Loughborough B as we head to the start of this race. Down the tram lines we go then. Drivers wanting to make sure that they don't get a jump start. A bit of communication going on between the drivers, but it looks like we are going to be good to go racing there. As we go green, we can see Surrey B defending the inside there already, and still side by side as we have a bit of a pack forming up and a bit of an off for a few carters there. That is the number 18 of Oxford Brookes B off and into the barrier. Seems to be the only major casualties though through turn 1.
Yeah, that was an odd one. They went down the inside, then got spun across the front, and then all the rest of the drivers continued pressing on forward. Nothing the steering wheel could do. They could have turned it left or right. They were going to go the same direction, straight to the edge of the circuit, and a few drivers having to go off in avoidance as well. 3 wide there on the exit of the horseshoe. We've already seen someone flirt with the barrier on the outside. It was a bit more than flirting, to be fair. They made quite a bit of contact with it on the first lap of the previous race. But this time, all of them getting through to the exit curb and carrying on. That's the 3 having a good battle there. Coventry A really scrapping over the same piece of tarmac there with Bath D.
It was with Bath D get it done down the inside, but Birmingham A sat there quietly in waiting, saw an opportunity open up to them into that first corner and side on through and gain a few positions. Birmingham A already gained 10 positions on the first lap of this race. What a start for Birmingham A there, mighty stuff. Couple of penalties coming in for UClan A and Reading C, and they're not just penalties. You'll see it on your screen in a second, folks. They are, in fact, no, they are penalties. They're breaking formation. I was about to say they're black flags, but no, they're not. They're breaking formation, which is still not ideal, but it's, out of all the penalties you could get, it's one of those kind of less bad ones, shall we say.
Yeah, I'll go through the list in a bit of the amount of penalties that you can
list.
get. Yeah, it is quite the mega list. We'll go through it in a little bit. But yeah, breaking formation penalty, one of the lower ones you mentioned, Reeve. So we'll add those on at the end of everything. Big hop and a skip over the grass there for the number 9. That was Loughborough B getting shuffled out wide, taking to the escape route. But a few potholes there on the escape route, some molehills there to jump over for the number 9. And Loughborough B nearly taking to the skies as another driver there heading off to the inside line there off onto the grass as well. So a little bit more of a scrappy start to this one then. I think that's Loughborough trying to fight their way back to the inside line there. One driver getting shoveled out wide there to the exit curb. That's the 40 of Southampton B just slipping down the order as we watch the leaders come through onto another lap, all still trying to fight for position in the early part of this race.
They are indeed. Bathe on a nice charge at the moment, though. Briefly held the fastest lap of this race, working their way up into 4th position on the road. That is from 7th at the start of this race. So getting himself in the mix here to be competing for a podium, as we can see the number 9 of Loughborough B losing out on that previous lap, but just having a bit of an acknowledgement to the marshal side of the circuit. I think there might have been a bit of a contact issue, something like that, but they want to say, yep, sorry, my bad. Please don't penalise me. Either way, Edinburgh A, new fastest lap of this race now, a 41.7. Of course, early on, we're not going to quite see the same height. Of course, these are heavyweight drivers as well, a bit more weight in the car, so we're not going to see the same pace as on the lightweight fleet.
You sort of just hope that if you put your hand up and go, yeah, I'm really sorry, I know I did wrong there, please don't give me a penalty, you hope that they'll be kind to you. But hey, we'll wait and see whether they are at the end of that one. Last lap wasn't so ideal for Liverpool A then. They've lost a few places on that last one. 5 places lost from 6th to 11th. We saw them get shuffled out on the exit of Billy's Blind. And as you said in race number 1, you lose one place, you often lose quite a few, and that's exactly what happened there to Liverpool A. Yellow flags into the final corner then. There is the number 60 of Surrey B continuing to lead the field on to a new lap of this race, but there's 4-5 drivers almost in a train then at the front of the order. Surrey B, Oxford Brookes A, Exeter A, Bath A and Cardiff A. We've got 3 of the championship contenders here in the top 5 in race number 2. Could this be a crucial part of the day here for these teams, or here could be the move for second place? Exeter A, think about it, but no, move for the lead. Down the inside go Oxford Brookes, up and under try Exeter. They're going to take the lead here. Can they force them out to the inside? No. Back down the inside goes Oxford Brookes A. Exeter trying to hold it around the outside. There's Surrey going side by side with Bath as well. Changes all at the front of the order. How is this one going to end up? It's going to end up with a driver off into the barriers. That's the 8 of Oxford Brookes A. Can they get it back onto the black stuff? It's going to take them an absolute age to get it back on. They're going to lose a heap of positions.
They will indeed. It was looking briefly oh so good for Brookes A, but tumbling down the order, down to 14th, 15th, still losing time. That's what happens when you've got such a close pack of racers at the front end of the field here. We've got 15 cars covered by 7 seconds, and it's Brookes B at the back. Sorry, it's Brookes A at the back of that 7-second gap there. Disaster for our championship contenders.
I did say, could this be a key race towards the championship charge? And it might just be there for Oxford Brookes A. I mean, if it's going to happen, you want it to happen in the first 5 minutes, not the last 5 minutes. So they've still got 20 minutes here to try and drive through the order, but easier said than done. We'll watch and see how that one plays out. So now we've got the 2 drivers trying to scamper off away at the front of the order, Exeter A and Bath A. Now Exeter, like we said in the interviews, like Piers was chatting with them at the start of the race, contact there through the S's, just about holding on there, Exeter A. They're not going to be too happy about that one. Just popped the nose in there to the number 2 and said, yeah, I'll have that please. And Exeter A went, nope, closing the door. Off they nearly went to the exit curb, and look at that, it brings the 60 back involved. They're up to second place. Through goes Surrey B yet again, up and under though. Great move up and under, touching off that curb though. Yeah. No arguing with that. We saw it on the live stream. Cardiff A getting involved in this one as well, and with the amount of scrapping, we're keeping the rest of the field all in play here, pretty much the opposite of what we saw in race number 1.
Yeah, it's such a close pack here, with Bath A very much trying to find a way past Exeter. Exeter A hard on that defence. Bath A at no point this season have they taken a round win. They got very close in the morning at GYG, but they are yet to take a round win. Just nice consistency has kept them 3rd in the championship at the moment. Exeter A having some strong results, but a big dip during that mid-season section of the running, as we have a cart off circuit there, beached on the curbs. I suspect a spin that has kind of brought them back up onto that curb means that they're completely stuck. They're going to need some assistance from the marshals to get that back off that curb, hence why we've got yellow flags out there.
Yeah, that was a bit of a close one. We saw the yellows going in. You saw the drivers acknowledge it with the hand up, but we still saw a couple of drivers going side by side. Surrey B were on the outside of Exeter A there as they headed on through. So a very, very close one between those two, and Stuart's probably not going to look on that one so kindly, but we'll wait and see. I'm not sure if they did actually end up breaking any of the rules there. Just need to be maybe a little bit more careful when we've got a driver out of the kart on the inside of the circuit. Anyway, we head on, and still, what is this now? The top 10 separated by less than 4 seconds. I think we've got this entire group is the top 9 then, all in a train as they head on through. There's a move down the inside from the number 3 of Coventry A. A little bit too late there on Mr. Pooley. The number 25 that will be, is it, or the 13 of Exeter A? Let's wait and see as they come through though. I know that Mr. Pooley used to race for Nottingham Trent A though, and again another driver who races against me, so he's definitely too old to be racing here for points for a team. So I think another ineligible driver there at the back of this track, but Mr. Pooley, another very experienced driver to be watching.
There are some very long university courses these days, there are, John Ratcliffe, so you never know. Either way, number 5, Cardiff A, feeling the pressure from Edinburgh A, Coventry A as well. We've got so many battles forming up here throughout the field. Starting to get a little bit more field spread now, but still oh so close, certainly compared to race 1. Bumper pass penalty coming in for Lancaster B as we have an SUY penalty coming in for Oxford Brooks A. And we might need a bit of a refresher on that one. That is speeding on the yellows. There. So that is not ideal for the Oxford Brooks A driver there. And of course, bad to worse really for their race.
Indeed, it is bad to worse. You've got me thinking now, is it spinning? Because obviously they went off track through the right-hander. Was there a yellow flag out?
Having confirmation from Piers that it is in fact spinning on the yellows.
Oh dear,
so
yes, it's gone even worse then. Maybe it was for that when they went off at the final corner. Big move down the inside there from the 25 of Liverpool B. That is Mr. Pooley, who will be ineligible at the end of the race results here, but continuing to scrap there on track. Through goes the 13 on the number 3. Move back down the inside then. This is all at the bottom end of the top 10.
Look at how late Edinburgh A left that braking, then stamping on that brake pedal, upsets the back end of the car, and he's fighting that oversteer to get the car turned in to the corner there. Nice work by the Edinburgh A driver. Might not have been the fastest way into the corner, but it certainly looked very fun indeed as we head now through to start the next lap.
It is a bit confusing because there is both spinning under yellows and speeding under yellows penalties. So how do we differentiate between those two? I don't know. Either way, spinning is a +4, speeding is a +2. So just ones to watch. There was a big move there down the inside. Door was closing. It very much did close, and a bit of contact there.
Yeah, on the previous lap we saw a bit of oversteer for the Edinburgh A driver. This time we saw quite a bit more, only it was with the assistance of a bit of contact with another car there. So we'll have to see if anything comes from that one. But either way, not an ideal way to be heading into the right-handed tight corner there. As this battle is looking to get just a little bit more intense now. The Edinburgh driver checking over the kart there, I think, just to make sure everything is okay. So it must have felt like a pretty hard hit into that steep braking zone.
I think maybe not too happy with the speed coming out of their kart today anyway, as often over the grass. There goes the 35, nearly taking to the skies yet again. Another driver there, this time Lancaster B, finding that grass on the exit there. It's a difficult place to go side by side. We've seen it done, but often drivers deciding to bail out there to the left-hander, but clearly the ground a little bit bouncy there as they head through there, so not the ideal line as they head on through. Right, we're nearly 10 minutes done in this race. Bath A still leading the way. Here they are. The number 2 comes across the line, start a new lap of this one. 6/10 back to Exeter A then, so they sort of managed that gap well now, put a little bit of breathing room, about a kart length or 2 between themselves and second place. Surrey B still holding on there in 3rd place. Again, an impressive performance from that Clubman team. I think they're sitting in 4th place in the Clubman Championship heading into today, so looking to try and thrust themselves up into the top 3 by the end of today. But like we mentioned, Bath A, Championship contender, 3rd place in the Premier coming into today, leading this race. Cardiff A in 2nd in Premiers coming into this one in 4th. Oxford Brooks A are back up to P11 then, so they've driven through the pack well. But of course, they've had that penalty now. So again, it doesn't matter. If they drive through all the way to the lead, they can't win the race. They're going to drop back and get less points. And it's going to be a slight issue from them from what was likely one of, if not their highest starting position for the races this morning.
Yeah, exactly. And luckily for them, Cardiff A didn't have a great race out in race 1. So they're going to have that kind of in the bank, so to speak. It effectively kind of neutralises the fight that they've got going on, which means they're going to have a few more opportunities this morning to try and take that championship win. But it is oh so close, as we say.
And of course, we did not have Bath A in the first race. This is their first race of the day. Starting it off with a win doesn't get much better than that, really, to kick off the round. So definitely don't count them out in terms of the championship this season. They've been leading for quite a while in the championship throughout this year. Like you mentioned, not getting a round win, just being nice and consistent with their finishing positions, and that's courtesy of the fact they've got 4 race wins already throughout this year. They're looking to make it 5 race wins in 2025 here in race number 2 of the day here for round 7. But they've been super impressive so far this year. I mean, Bath, always a team that they're flirting with the top end of the championship in terms of BUKC, but looking to try and take it overall so far today. Still all to play for. Just over 13 minutes left to go in this one, and as we get close towards half race distance, it's just about starting to settle into a bit of an order here.
Yeah, it is indeed. We've still got 7 seconds only covering our top 10, but that is fairly big compared to how it was in the start of this race. We look a little bit further back now to Bath B versus Birmingham A, as we see Bath B just getting the move done down the inside into that first corner. Textbook overtaking opportunity here at Clay Pigeon. What a track it is as well. Traditional, proper British karting circuit is, and it has plenty of a bumpy surface, oblique tight corners, plenty to enjoy here at Clay Pigeon. It's been a great set of tracks actually for the BUKC running this year, I think.
It really has. It's been a great season in terms of the tracks that the BUKC have visited, and like was mentioned by Piers on the grid, chatting with a few of the drivers, if you're of university age, you're about to be of university age, you're thinking of getting involved in some outdoor karting, maybe for the first time ever, this is a great place to start. As more moves down the inside, the 25 of Liverpool B leaning on the 5 of Cardiff A. I do believe that's Harvey McBreen behind the wheel of the number 5 now, just losing a position on track there down to 5th place. But as we know in the comms box, it's going to be ineligible for the 25 of Liverpool B at the end of this one, so it will be effectively place given back once all is said and done, and still getting some good points from today's action. I was just mentioning as well about the fact of consistency through the season. We mentioned that Cardiff A had that double round win at GYG. The only other team to get 2 round wins so far this season are Reading A. Now, of course, Reading, incredibly impressive last year. It just hasn't quite happened for them this year. 7th place in the championship going into today. They've had those 2 round wins. Then they've had a couple of rounds where they've been really off colour as well.
Yeah, they have. And I think Reading are a particular victim, out of anyone I can see on my screen now, a particular victim of the only 1 drop round situation here in the BUKC this season. I'm quite a fan actually of just the 1 drop round, because what it means is that, yes, Reading have had some really good results, as you say, a couple of round wins, but they've had a couple of off ones as well. And GYG in the afternoon for round 6, that was taken as their drop round, but they also had round 4 as well, which was ideally what would have been in another season their drop round as well, and it would have had them still right in the mix there in this championship fight. But as the result of the fact we've only got 1 drop round, they are a little bit further down than perhaps you would expect.
Yeah, like you were saying, yeah, round 4. So that's the afternoon at Buckmore Park that was. So they won the round in the morning at Buckmore Park. So clearly they've got some good pace around there, good consistency, but something going very wrong in the afternoon. Of course, can't quite tell you exactly what. Sadly, we weren't able to live stream the first couple of rounds of the season in 2025 of BUKC, but it has meant that we've been able to now bring you at the end of the season both the Drivers' Champs and the 2 Inters rounds as well to capitalise the season. So all very exciting stuff, and a big shout out to Alpha Live for bringing you this coverage here today from Clay Pigeon. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, firstly so you don't miss all the racing action coming up this season, but also ready for 2026 when the BUKC returns.
Yeah, and we look forward to that. It's always such a long gap between BUKC races that it's always nice when it returns. And it will, of course, at the early points of next year. Just having a look, actually, at the University of Life Kart, which is still on track with us for race 2. They are in last, but they're in last on the lead lap. There's a few cars still behind them, so they've got that to take home at least. So nice work there for our Lotus-suited driver there, which was a very nice suit to see out on the circuit.
It was lovely to see. I mean, first time in a Club 100 kart, so fair play for just being on the lead lap, keeping it on the black stuff, because, yeah, these are difficult karts to drive, particularly if you've been out of karting for a little while or you've only ever done indoor karting. It is quite the serious step up to jump into these, but still a lot more forgiving than, say, an owner kart that you would jump in at a similar age to what you're doing here in the BUKC. So still a nice little bridge gap between Arrive and Drive karting and, of course, jumping into owner karts. This still officially Arrive and Drive karting, but the fastest Arrive and Drive karts that you can do in the UK, and how exciting they are. We still watch this battle at the sharp end of the order. We've got 2 back markers battling there as we head through the horseshoe, and here come the leaders heading on by. So Liverpool B now at the front of this train. That's Cardiff A parting the Red Sea there in the middle, heading through on the inside and the outside of a couple of drivers there as they head on by, and they are right on the back of Surrey B as we started this one. Looks like they've dropped off ever so slightly. They're getting to the back markers, a couple of tenths lost. They're just in behind Surrey B. They've got Coventry A with the orange helmeted driver in behind. And I recall the orange helmeted driver at GYG doing pretty well, and they're pressing on nicely in this one so far. Are Coventry A up a few spots, 5 places on the grid so far in this one, but we've had some ridiculous movers. I mean, one of those being the ineligible driver, Mr. Sampudi, in 3rd place, up 30 places in this race, starting in 33rd.
I imagine the Liverpool BUKC captain is currently on the phone to University of Liverpool trying to get a place for Mr. Sampuli there to make sure that he's no longer ineligible. And there we go. Yeah, no, he's one of our students, honest. Yeah, 30 places, that's mighty impressive. Coventry A, we haven't talked about too much, actually. Started off this season very strongly indeed. Round 1, round 2, 59 points, 60 points, so a round win at our first race event. But then the season kind of falls away a little bit. In the afternoon, Buckmore, 57 points on the board. GYG, bit of a day to forget, really. So Coventry A, they're still technically in the mix here. They're only a few points off Brooks A, Cardiff A, and the likes, but they're just perhaps not quite where we expected they would have been, given how strong the start of the season was.
Yeah, hasn't just been able to continue that momentum through to the end of the season. Of course, Coventry A, the only team in the Rotax era of the BUKC to win back-to-back championships, as they try it round the outside here, heading down to the first corner. That'll become the inside for Billy's blind. Nearly spinning out Harvey McBreen there of Cardiff. Harvey's going to get forced to the outside line. Through goes Coventry, and there's the 84 of Bath B skipping on by as well. So this is going to be points lost then towards the championship for Cardiff. But like we mentioned, Coventry A, the only team to do back-to-back championship victories. It was 2019 and 2020 for Coventry A. So 5 years since they won a championship, and I don't think it's going to be 2025 for them, sadly.
No, mathematically it's still possible, but looking less and less likely at this point. Again, it's a shame that what started as a strong season for them and for the university as a whole. I mean, Coventry B's right behind them when all is said and done, only a couple of points behind them in the standings. They've had a bit more of a consistent year, have Coventry B. So overall, if you were to take an average of multiple teams, Coventry's looking pretty good. It's just a shame that the A team isn't quite in the fight with the likes of Bath, Cardiff and Brooks A.
Just shows that they've got like a really good throughput of drivers there through the teams. I think they're the only university, I believe, in the championship with 6 teams. They go from A to F. A to C are all in the mains, and then D to F all in the inters, and a 10th there into the horseshoe from Bath B. Doesn't quite work out there. Trying down the inside there of the number 3. So Coventry overtaking them early on in this lap. They're trying to find their way back through. But yeah, that throughput of drivers really helping teams. They can get that many teams together, get that many drivers involved and interested in racing in the BUKC, and you can have that sort of, like I say, throughput of drivers getting up the ladder in terms of the teams. Oh dear, that's a bit of an off moment for one of the drivers. Was that the number 20 potentially I saw? Anyway, we'll see when they come through across the line to finish another lap who that is. But Coventry, very impressive, looking like they may be mounting a charge. If they've not got too many drivers leaving at the end of this year, maybe 2026 is their year. We'll wait and see.
It will be. I should give mention to the fact that, yes, we're looking at Coventry A. Just had a quick chat about them. They have just received a bump and pass penalty. So that is less than ideal. They will not finish in the position that they come out across the line with. Commentators curse. We pretty much avoided GYG, didn't we? We didn't really have much of it, but it appears to be back in full force here at Clay Pigeon. I do also want to give mention, potentially at peril of their result here, Leeds D not having a great time out in race 1, shall we say. Well, on track having a great time out, but on paper, black flag. But here, they've made up 11 positions, 12 positions in fact, started 23rd on the grid, now running in P11 are Leeds D, so they'll be hoping to continue that momentum forward and forget about race 1, I think, and just score some good points.
Indeed. Put it all behind you and press on for the rest of the day. 5 minutes left to go then on the clock here for race number 2, first race of the day for our heavyweight drivers, and I can confirm the driver that we saw off the circuit a moment ago was the number 20. That's Loughborough A, who were off track, and that's a less than ideal start to the day for them out there. Of course, to remind you, we're splitting these 6 races into 3 lightweights and 3 heavyweight races. The only difference really being 75 kilogram minimum weight for the lightweights and 82 kilogram minimum weight for the heavyweights. But of course, that doesn't matter hugely. Of course, if you're over 82 yourself, you're not going to want to jump in a lightweight race. That's just silly. You've got to jump in a heavyweight. But drivers who are less than 75, you can just lead up. You can pop lead on the cart, make yourself nice and heavier, and get involved in either race. So still drivers who are maybe less. What was the phrase that was used on the grid? Maybe I shouldn't repeat it.
Gravitationally enhanced or something like that, I think it was.
Less gravitationally enhanced drivers there, letting up and getting involved in the heavyweights. But yeah, we'll wait and see how that all plays out then. 4 minutes left to go in this one. Still a second gap between Bath A and Exeter A. And after all that squabbling at the early part of this race, they settled into a nice order here at the front, and they pressed on well. Bath 8 have managed the gap absolutely beautifully on Exeter A, just keeping them at arm's length, making sure there's no opportunity for any overtakes.
Yep, they haven't been out and out fastest that have Bath A, but as you say, controlling that race quite nicely after. For Liverpool B, with a 40.774, although we don't talk about them, they're naughty and ineligible and they don't exist, so we won't mention them. But yeah, they're having a good drive out there at the moment. Exeter A currently lapping in the 41s, although Surrey B gets past Liverpool B now. Surrey B, a remarkable driver for our Clubman's team. Started first on the grid, of course, had a bit of an issue, a bit of a scruffy couple of laps at the start of this race for everyone involved, really, but slowly working their way back up through the pack.
So we've got a few yellow flags out there. Looks to be on the exit of the S's potentially there, with the driver off on the outside of the sausage curb. Of course, JV reminding all the drivers this morning he doesn't want anyone riding over that because it's not good for the underside of his Club 100 karts, and we'll not read into that statement at all. 3 minutes left to go in this race. Liverpool B with the fastest lap of this race so far. Of course, we know it's Mr. Sam Pooley behind the wheel of that one, but clearly nothing lost there for Sam as he continued to try and fight his way through. Now, is that on a back marker or is that for position? That is on a back marker, I do believe there. Yeah, the 35 slightly further down the order, but still pressing on well. There is the number 7 of Exeter A, still in second place. Has got a nice little gap back to Surrey B in third, about 2 seconds or so back, 1.5 seconds back to Surrey B, and then 1.5 seconds forward to Bath A. So in a bit of no man's land there in second place for the moment. Liverpool B still trying to close in on Surrey B, but to remind you, they won't be on the final results, so no real need to worry about them for Surrey B if you're listening along. But of course, let us know in the live chat where you're listening along from. We had a few different answers at GYG. Wasn't the best one was somewhere in America, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, there's certainly someone in America. I know. It looks like we've got a Japanese viewer in the stream for this round, so that is almighty stuff there. Thank you very much for supporting it along. But as you mentioned with the curbs there, whenever JV is talking about a particular type of curb that he doesn't like to see being ridden by his cars, it always brings back fond memories of Flat Out. But we continue on, just a couple of minutes to go in this race. And yet things just settling down a little bit now, as we have the car nerd there in the YouTube comments who points out at one point Coventry had a G team. I think I saw a H team once. I can't remember which team. So. There was a H team even as well. So obviously you've got those bigger universities, particularly those I've noticed in Motorsport Valley, where obviously there's a lot of engineering students who have an avidity for all things racing and petrol heads as well. You're going to see a lot of those universities showing up with plenty of big numbers. But we do have a massive variety of universities turning up in both the mains and the inters, so it's great to see everyone coming far and wide to enjoy some Club 100 racing.
It is indeed, yeah, great to see. Less than a minute left to go here in race number 2. And like we were saying, lovely to see so many people in the live chat saying hello. Hello to Max Watson in the live chat saying mode push McBreen. Demon time for McBreen. Aidan Bliss in the live chat as well saying it's coming home to Cardiff. Harvey, stop going backwards, please. Harvey's dropped down to 10th place now for the Cardiff A team, so that's less than ideal. Was up in the top 5 earlier on in this one, so that's going to be points lost. Just as I say that though, maybe he heard me and it speared him on. He's up to 9th place here as we head through on towards the end of this race. Still 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Then shout out as well to a few people supporting Birmingham A. Felix Lancaster rooting on our housemate Birmingham A. Avery saying go Birmingham A. And then lots of chat about the breadth of teams here. I think, like you mentioned, I think H is the lowest I've ever seen before. I don't think we'll ever go further than that. But hey, we'll wait and see whether teams can find some more in 2026. But here we go then. On to the last lap go Bath A, and they're over 2 seconds ahead now of Exeter A. There is Axel Slijepcevic there behind the wheel as they head on through this final lap of the race. Axel looking to take yet another win here in the BUKC, a name we recognise for many, many years here in the BUKC. I feel like every year Axel is one of those drivers amongst quite a number where I go, in my head anyway, this must be their last season. And then they just turn up again the next one.
Yes.
Anyway, somehow he's managed to wangle his way through. He's managed to wangle his way through into the lead of this race. Heading into the final corner comes Axel Slijepcevic then. Around the final corner he comes, and Bath A, one of your championship contenders here, are going to take the win in race number 1. There's second place of Exeter A, following them across the line. They gained a bit of time there on the final lap, but it is Bath who take it on the road. I don't think we saw any penalties come through for Bath in that one, so it's looking pretty good for quite a number of points there going towards their name and really hotting up the championship. Other contenders then, Cardiff A finishing in 9th place. Oxford BUKC in 13th place, though. That is not ideal, and we did see, of course, they had that spinning on the yellows penalty, +4 onto that one as well. They'll get the benefit of a few drivers ahead not being eligible for points. Then they're going to drop a bit further back once all is said and done with those penalties. But enter race number 2 then, and it's going to be a win on the road for Bath A. Another great race. A bit more scrappy at the start of that one than the last one, though, Reeve.
Yeah, it was indeed, but it was still mighty close, especially in the mid-phase of the race there, where we saw drivers punished for small mistakes that saw them tumbling the back through the order. But here's that order: Bath A, Exeter A, Liverpool B, Coventry A, Surrey B, Bath B, Birmingham A, Loughborough B, Cardiff A, Edinburgh A, Leeds C, Southampton B, Brooks A, and UCLan A. Moving on then to UWE A, Bristol A, Liverpool A, Cambridge B, Lancaster B, Loughborough D and C. So coming home together once again: Nottingham A, Brooks B, Southampton C, Sheffield B, Nottingham Trent A, and Imperial B. Our final few results then: Bristol B, Cambridge A, Bath D and C coming home together. Reading C, the University of Life. Loughborough A, Oxford Brooks D, Portsmouth A and Manchester A are 37 provisional results for our first heavyweight race of the day.
University of Life, not last. Fantastic. Great to see jumping back in the car there after a little while. But it seems as though, well, hopefully Mr. Piers will be ready in a few moments for us to drop down to him and hear from some of those drivers in that race and also the race to come then. Let's head down to Piers, who's on the dummy grid.
Let's grab some reaction from that race. It was an action-packed one. I want to chat to, of course, our winners, as always, Bath A with Axel Slitzovic, but also I'm going to grab a word with our Uni of Life driver if I can. Axel.
Hey.
I'll let you get your transponder off for a moment there. That went all right?
Yeah, it was good. My cart didn't work at the start, so I had to go get another one, but luckily this one...
Luckily this one looked pretty good.
Yeah, it looked good. So.
A good result for Bath, your first race of the day as a team. Good start with a win.
Yes, so I think we're 3 points behind Oxford Brooks and we're 2 points behind Cardiff. And Oxford Brooks had a good race in the first one.
Decent that last one, but I don't know whether you saw, you were in the battle with Oxford Brooks A, but they had an off going into the last corner and they'd finished down in Oxford Brooks A. Number 8 is 13th, so that's a good result for you.
Yeah, I mean, we started all together, and we all start together in race 4 as well, so that will be an interesting one to watch.
Lovely, lovely. Right, well, good start for Bath today. Where's our Uni of Life driver? Let's go and find them. He was wearing a Renault suit. I can't see him at the moment. Who I will grab a word with, though, is I grabbed a word with you before the race.
Yeah.
How was it?
Came second.
Good.
So, yeah, it was all right. Pretty gutted to not be able to chase Bath, I think it was. But, yeah, no excuses, just not fast enough. So, yeah, going into Drivers' Champs, hopefully... Yeah, do a bit better.
We'll be better. Talking of driver champs, Samuel Pooley's back again. I'm making an exception for our ignoring ineligible drivers. Sam, you're just getting some practice in this afternoon, aren't you?
Certainly am, yeah. 2 years out of the seat and thought I might need some practice before I go out this afternoon.
Rubbish racing driver excuse. I'm driving this afternoon. I haven't driven for 2 years as well, so if you don't beat me, then there's no excuse, mate. Right, let's go a word with Cambridge as well. Cambridge, double Cambridge. How was it out there?
Not great.
How was it for you?
A bit better.
I mean, it's not exactly a shining review of that race from Cambridge.
Well, it's hard to say when we don't actually know where either of us finished.
OK, here we go. Right, let's have a look. What number are you?
Reaction.
There you go. You can scroll. Have a look. Where are you?
So you finished 18th, and God, where am I? 29th.
It's an average of about 20-somethings.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. Could be worse. Who finished last? You could be Manchester A. I mean, it could be Manchester A in the first place, regardless of them finishing last. Anyway, moving forward, I don't want to get too slanderous on the live broadcast, so let's wander down, and I really do want to grab a word with our Uni of Life driver, but I think they may have vacated the vicinity of the scales, so in which case I'm just going to run in and grab a word with whoever I fancy. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
Robbie for Lancaster B.
Robbie, we've spoken before, haven't we?
Yes, when I was watching at GYG and racing, but...
Yes. How was today?
Not a great start. I had like 3 good laps early on in the race and then it just went downhill. But it was some fun battling. Had some moments at the chicane going straight on, which is eventful. So it was an eventful race. Good for the GoPro footage.
Good for the footage. Well, where will we see that GoPro footage?
Well, probably nowhere.
Oh, you don't publish it?
No, I might be tempted to, but I don't know, I'm not winning anything, so it doesn't look that good.
Hey, sometimes it's entertaining to watch how things, shouldn't be done. Let's grab a word with our Uni of Life driver. Sorry, guys, I'm going to butt in. Talk to me, how was it?
It's mega. The karts are awesome. The track is. I haven't driven here for a very, very long time, and
it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. There must be some muscle memory there, and just the standard of driving out there is just really clean, fast, aggressive. Still, it's proper racing, but really impressed.
And also, we were chatting to Will on the rolling down. Like, you didn't finish last.
I know. I mean, a few people went off, so I think that's more to do with it. But yeah, it was interesting trying to hang on the quick guys when they went past. But yeah, fantastic racing.
Sounds good. Glad you enjoyed it. We'll see you out again. When are you out again?
This afternoon in the driver's stuff, at the back again.
At the back again. Well, we'll see you then. Moving further forward, let's have a word with someone else. Who are you? Come on, have a quick word. I'll yank you out the queue. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
I'm Oscar. I'm racing for the University of Manchester.
Manchester A?
Yeah, Manchester A.
Oh no.
It's been a long day.
You finished last, my friend.
Dead last.
37th. There's not normally 37 karts. I know it's 36, but with Uni of Life.
Yeah, I mean, I made a few places on the first corner in the first lap. Then into the hairpin, I got hit pretty bad into the side. Not sure what that did, but then a couple laps later, I spun out and the car just wouldn't start back up. It just completely turned off, and that was it.
It's one of those days.
One of those days, but
you go again.
We go again next year.
Next year, yes. Anyway, Manchester A, not exactly an ideal race for them. It's quite unfortunate. I managed to find the person that finished dead last in that one. It wasn't deliberate, I promise. Right, now let's look ahead to race 3 of the day, the second lightweights race this morning, and we'll wander on forward and grab a word with whoever we can. Who are you? Come on and let's have a chat. Number 70, who are you? Who are you racing for?
I'm Michael Okonski. This is my last ever race for De Montfort University.
Oh. Wait, are you graduating this year or next year?
I'm graduating this year, but I'm doing a master's at Coventry, so I won't be gone for too long.
Oh, so but it's the last one for DMU?
Yes, exactly that. Yeah.
For his last.
Here we go. What's talk to me about this?
Eating a chicken wing at a social.
I mean, as in a drinking social.
Don't worry. Mainly drinking, but he opted for eating as well.
I ate 30 wings that day.
30 wings.
Yeah, I know.
So you saw off 15 chickens.
Yes, I know. My girlfriend's veggie. She wasn't very happy with me.
Were they good wings?
Yeah, you know what? Honey barbecue.
They would get a bit sickly after a while.
Yeah. But my mate ate 60.
So you were basically.
He got the pub record.
Where is he here?
No, unfortunately not. No.
Well, who is he? Shout him out.
Zach. I can't pronounce your last name. Well done. You're a fat. I can't say.
Yeah. We'll leave that. Thank you very much. Right, DMU, the last race. Keep an eye on them. Let's walk to the front of the grid. We've got a grid. Nottingham A on pole position in this one, if I'm not mistaken. Sheffield A going from the outside of row number 1. Let's chat to them. Right, let's wander up the field. That looks like a Nottingham suit, so it looks like I've got the right grid in front of me. That's excellent. A lot of green suits over here. This must be Nottingham. I'm going to slide on in here, guys. Don't mind me. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
Ben Foden, Nottingham A.
What did you have for breakfast this morning, Ben?
Toast.
With?
Honey on it.
Okay, I was about to say, if you had dry toast, that is serial killer behaviour.
Yeah.
Just honey?
Honey and butter.
Honey and butter. What, you guys are honey and butter or just honey?
No, he stayed by himself.
He stayed
by himself.
Yeah,
I've been down here all week. We're not
preparing, getting in the zone. He's been sitting on the circuit meditating.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Right, are you racing this afternoon in the Driver's Champs?
Yeah.
In the
lightweight.
Oh, see. Which heats are you in?
1, 3. I think you're starting 2 places behind me in the first.
I'm starting 24th in heat 3.
Oh, are you? I think I'm 26th.
Well, don't find me off, otherwise I'll come find you. Anyway, how's today been going so far?
Good, I think. We had a 22nd, I think, but considering you got punted off on lap 1, it was a pretty good recovery.
What can you do from pole position in this one?
Well, I've been here a few times in juniors. I've got a few podiums, so I'm quite confident I can stay in the top 5. So that's the aim.
That is the aim. What do we reckon the chance of a top 5 are, Mr. Bates? He reckons quite high. Right, let's move on. See Nottingham going from pole position. Outside of the front row, we have Sheffield A.
Hello.
Who are you?
Mick Singh.
Mick, talk to me. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I've done this track before. Quite a few years ago back now, but
Yeah, I'm feeling confident to race. I haven't raced here for like 6 years though, so.
I can see you've got a very shiny lid here. You've got a British Karting, British Kart Championships visor on there. 2021.
Yeah, that's the last time I raced. So I did. I was in X30 in 2021, and then I stopped.
Yeah, a bit different in a Club 100 kart, right?
Yeah, but it's good to get back out. Like, still love racing. So yeah.
Me too.
Good.
Me too. Are you racing the Drivers' Champs this afternoon?
I am, yes. Yeah.
In the lightweights?
In the lightweights, yeah.
Which heats?
2 and 4, maybe.
See you in Heat 2. I'll see you in Heat 2. Right, let's move on further down the grid. Who should I chat with? Let's just grab a word with someone I haven't chatted to either before or not for a while. I'm going to cut over here. Luke, can you come follow us over the go-karts? Hello there. You look like you're in the zone. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
Theo Palm, Southampton C, starting 13th.
What are you thinking?
Well, I haven't seen the carts I have around me, but hopefully I can find some fast drivers and follow them through. Hopefully not lose too many positions to mains drivers. We got the #1 plate behind us.
Oh, you're normally in Inters?
No, mains driver normally, but look for some opportunities to get through.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you don't win this race, what would your racing driver excuse be?
Oh, well, I mean, all the carts have new tyres here today, but I think these look especially dodgy, so I think it's got to be a standard...
right, tyres weren't working.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Oh, nice, good thinking. Right, that's it. Heat number 3, race number 3 this morning. Back to our commentators, John and Reeve.
Thank you very much, Piers, as we see the karts getting underway, ready for our second lightweight race of the day. Yet something we haven't mentioned much at all, really, so far, is Piers will, in fact, be joining us on track today, which will be very exciting stuff indeed, won't it, John?
Indeed, yeah, he's going to be out in the Drivers' Champs later on, and we're going to see how we can fit that into the stream. Of course, we're going to try and get him to still do all the interviews, but maybe we can get a microphone in the kart.
We'll
maybe.
See.
Maybe a world first here at Clay Pigeon Raceway. Let's get on then with race number 3. Reeve, do you want to take us through the grid?
I do indeed. So it's going to be Nottingham A and Sheffield A on the first row of the grid. Sheffield C, Cambridge B, followed by Reading C and Derby A, row 2 and 3. Moving on to the fourth row of the grid, it's Brook C and Bristol C, followed by Coventry A, Loughborough A, Swansea A and Oxford A on row 5, row 6. It's Southampton C, Coventry B, row 7, Huddersfield A, Reading A, row 8, Loughborough D and Nottingham Trent A on row 9, UWE A and UCLA on row 10, Southampton A, Lancaster A, Reading B and Liverpool A, row 11 and 12. It's De Montfort A and Exeter A at row 13, Surrey B, Coventry C on row 14, Bristol B and Warwick A, row 15. Moving on to row 16, UCL B, Loughborough C, Oxford Brooks A, Birmingham A, Southampton B, Batty, 16, 17 and 18. And then our final kart on the grid once more is the University of Life. I think they're going to make an appearance on every grid today. Oh no, they are actually here on a track for this race as well, according to the timing system, which is what we like to see, isn't it? We get even more karts out on track for our already very fully occupied grids here. It's great to see so much Club 100 racing action.
I mean, it was pretty busy last time out at GYG, and that circuit's about double the length of this one.
Yeah.
So 37 drivers taking to the track in anger here at Clay Pigeon. It gets rather busy out there on circuit. We've got someone in the live chat who said, what time does Reading A race? Race 3. Right now.
Yeah.
Literally now. So just
Good time.
Keep watching.
Good
now.
timing.
Yeah, right now it's about to start. Drivers heading around on those practice laps at the moment, just finding their way around. There's the number 4. So good to see Southampton A back out. They were one of the drivers who didn't get away from the dummy grid there. So whether they've changed kart or not, we didn't quite spot that one. But either way, Southampton A back in and amongst it, ready for this upcoming race number 3. Southampton one to watch in this one. Oxford Brooks A, one of your championship contenders as well, starting right down near the back for this one. 33rd place in this one from Oxford A. So you've got to sort of compare the frontward starts and the rearward starts from the drivers we've seen who are amongst them in terms of championship battle. Of course, you've seen that one from Cardiff. I think it was 36th to 15th, I want to say, on the road in their low start. So Oxford Brooks, looking to just do a similar job to that. However, they've had that slight of an issue from their front start in the last race. So realistically, if they can pull it out the bag and get a monstrous result in this one, it's going to really help them towards the championship at the end of today. But lots still to play for, lots still for us to work out here in the comms box.
Yeah, exactly. It's not all said and done, and it's not over for Brooks A because they had that disappointing race 2. But as you say, it was their high finishing position. They should have come home with a podium. They should have come home with a really strong result there. It's put them on the back foot ever so slightly. But I think what it just means is that we get to enjoy a slightly closer battle towards the very end of this morning's racing, which is certainly no complaints from me now, as we start to see our karters slowing down behind the paced kart as we begin to start our formation. Our practice laps are coming to an end, and now it's time to get ready to get into the correct grid positions before we go racing.
It takes a little bit longer to do that because they allow one side of the grid to go for the warm-up laps and then the next side. So they're all very much shuffled up in terms of grid position. So just trying to find their way back to those correct spaces. Now, I was going to say we've got a couple of C and B teams in the sharp end of the order in this one up in the top 10. So I'm trying to think, maybe will that sort of lesser pace hold up the rest of the pack and we get a huge battle here? Or in the last race, we had loads of the A teams up in the top 5 and they all started scrapping because they were so close on pace, and that kept loads of drivers involved in the battle early on. So we'll wait and see how this one plays out then. But look at them crawling through to top end here at Clay Pigeon. A couple of drivers still trying to get a bit of heat in those tyres as they weave round in the order. A lot of the drivers going for the Kimi Räikkönen strat of just keeping it in a straight line. Focus ahead, wait for those lights, and wait for the engine notes to rise. Here we go then, thumbs up from the pace car driver. He'll pull to the left-hand side of your screen. The rest of the drivers will carry on. 2x2 formation into the tram lines here. Nottingham A on the 59. Sheffield A on the 6 then. We get underway in racing, and it might be a bit of a jump start then for Sheffield A. They already side through into the lead as they head down towards Billy's Blind. For the first time, two drivers round already in the mid-pack, and they get spun back around. There's a Liverpool driver still getting hit there in the middle as they drop all the way to the back of the order then. That is less than ideal for the Liverpool-suited driver, but almost a carbon copy of what we saw in race number 2 there. Driver getting spun round, and the rest of the drivers just trying to drive through them.
Yeah, indeed. We have another spin there at the hairpin, or luckily not too much time left. I mean, unfortunate it was so early on in the race that they lose plenty of position, but they're still there in the pack at least. And we do have confirmation for Sheffield A there, jump start penalty. I was questioning maybe it was just a really good start, but no, it was in fact a jump start there for the Sheffield A driver. Likewise for Cambridge B as well. They also take a jump start penalty there. So bit of a tricky start for race 3 then here on lap 1 as we head on to the second lap of the running. And now we make our way through the S's.
Of course, it was Cambridge B who were pushing Sheffield A across the line, so that's why they then also got themselves a penalty. Maybe the Sheffield A team may be feeling a bit aggrieved from that one, because obviously they can't just press on the brakes. If they're getting pushed, they're going to go straight forward and going to continue on. But either way, the number 6 in the lead of this race, but with that jump start penalty, they cannot take the win when all is said and done. So effectively, the battle for second is now the battle for the lead, and that is Nottingham A and Loughborough A at the moment. Side by side, a couple of drivers heading over the line down into Billy's Blind. I can see there Mr. Taylor on the back of his race suit in that Croc promotion suit there.
Hello.
As they head through. Oh, what are you, I just saw you on track, mate. What's going on? Someone else with your last name there in the Croc promotion suit as they're cutting through the order. Try and work out who that is. Potentially the 15 of Trent A, but I'll double check as they head through on this lap. Still battles going on then. I do believe this is the battle for second place between Nottingham A and Loughborough A, and like I mentioned, this is the effective battle for the race win. Yellow flags up into top bend, clearly an issue for someone up there as we head through onto another lap of this race. Just over 2 minutes gone already, and 3 seconds the gap that Sheffield A has. Like I say, they can't win this race, but still, that's so impressive.
Yeah, bit of a different story then in terms of the gap being held at the front end of the field here. Although if you ignore that first 3 second gap, there's still only 3 seconds covering P2 down to P8, and we're seeing it on screen just how close it is at the moment. UWA coming in with a bump and pass penalty in just a moment. See the pace car waiting there if it is needed as the number 63 there. Or apologies, that was number 83 in fact. Having a bit of an incident going over the curbs. The car getting speared up into the air pretty much.
It was a bit of a hop, skip and a jump. Yeah. It was indeed Oxford A. I think I've just seen, I wanted to say it was one of the Bath suits, but I don't think I can see Bath out on track. Oh, there is Bath C in 23rd place. Anyway, definitely was a Bath suit. They were facing the wrong direction down and sector number 2. Moved down the inside there from the 77, heading down the inside there into Billy's Blind. That's Loughborough C getting through on Sheffield C as there's more squabbling there on the exit of the S's. Surrey B getting in and amongst it. A few other drivers fighting over that same track position as they head on round. The number 8 is a driver involved in that. That is Oxford Brooks A trying to come through the order. So already up to 16th place then. 17 places gained already for Oxford Brooks A. And they're still continuing to cut through the pack here on the back of another train. Just look at that gaggle there coming through top bend. About 6 or 7 drivers all scrapping over the same piece of tarmac.
Yeah, that's almighty stuff from our mid-pack drivers here. Cone penalty coming in for Bristol B as well. as we're seeing trading for positions, Oxford A still on with a charge. They had a bit of a scruffy lap, shall we say, last time around, but now very much bringing that pressure back as they try to find a way past. A few laps into this race now as we have some communication between the drivers and some contact between the drivers there as well. There was a bit of a suggestion of maybe let's not be quite so elbows out, and then the elbows were indeed out.
Yeah, they weren't listening to commentary A there, were they? No. Commentary A was gesticulating furiously, saying, no, don't take the inside line, I'm going to go around the outside. Then they went 3 wide and all decided to have a bit of an incident. But either way, they've all kept facing the right direction, and that's the main thing.
It is indeed. Very nearly wasn't the case, though, but well held by Coventry there to keep the steering act. Oh dear, we have a bit of a rallycross moment there.
The 56 is not happy with the 3 of Coventry A then. Who is that on the 56 car? The UCLA driver. This is the bottom end of the top 10. Not happy with each other at the start of this one. This is slightly further up the order, I think, as they're carrying on through to the end of another lap. 4 drivers squabbling. This is headed up by the 91 of Cambridge B then. So Cambridge B, Coventry B, Reading A and UCLA.
Oh,
squabbling.
Spin. We just had a spin there. Didn't quite catch which driver it was, but there we see waiting, the long dreaded wait to try and continue on and rejoin the circuit. But you've got to wait so you can rejoin safely, which means making sure that when you do rejoin, you are not rejoining when there's cars heading towards you.
It was Surrey B.
Surrey
on
B.
that one, facing the wrong direction, sadly for them. I mean, we were singing their praises in the previous race of how fantastically well they've been doing in Clubman's, particularly last time out of GYG, but this race not quite going their way then, as more drivers cutting through the order, trying to find some positions. Mr. Knight there on the inside. If I remember correctly, that's probably Reading A, is it? Yes, it is. The number 1 plated driver. Of course, your champions in 2024 here in the British Universities Karting Championship. And Mr. Knight pressing on through then, gaining another place. Up into the top 5 he goes. But he's got a few drivers waiting in the wings then. Coventry B now behind him. Same with Cambridge B and Reading C there as they head through the S's and carry on by. About 2 seconds that they've got still to gain then to get ahead to Trent A, and then it's a further 2 seconds ahead to Nottingham A as well. So a bit earlier on in this one, gaps beginning to form at the sharp end of the order. I think that's just a case of the circuit here at Clay Pigeon. But given that there's less overtaking opportunities, drivers settle into that pace much earlier on, and it's difficult then to find squabbles, at least at the sharp end. I mean, they're proving me wrong there from about 10th place backwards, as they're all still in 6, 7, 8 kart groups. But either way, pressing on through this one, not even close to half race distance yet in this one, as moves still going on, down into Billy's blind. As again, trying to make the move on the exit, side by side into the S's there. And that's the number 4 making a move. That's Southampton A through on Coventry A for 9th place.
Yeah, nice move there for Coventry A. Currently behind the B team are Coventry as we have another spin at the hairpin here. Frustration in the cart, but we do get back on track.
That's Oxford A again. Did you see that? Oxford A, while they were spinning, were pointing at the driver who was at fault. While they were going round, just being like, pointing at him, being like, it was pointing, I think, to try and gesticulate to the person at the side of the track who's able to give out the penalty, saying, that was the man who did that to me. Give him a penalty.
We do like the gamesmanship that takes place in the BUKC as yet another spin. It is spin central here in race 3 as the driver does get back underway for yet another spin here at Clay Pigeon.
Oh dear, yeah, quite a number of spins. I mean, we've seen a few drivers being helped into spins, a few drivers having them all on their own. It is a difficult one, as we say. The barrier is very close here. It's easy for a small mistake to become quite the sizable incident. Luckily for that driver, they're able to spin it back round, get back in amongst the pack, but losing a number of positions because of that one. I was lucky, honestly, to not be collected with how tight this circuit is. It's a difficult one to get out of the way of drivers on occasion. We've got a few more changes throughout the order. Then Derby A are up into the top 10 then. They've moved through on Coventry A. And Derby A, they're on our screen here as a black plated driver, which of course I think the colours are still the wrong way round here comparatively to the timing and in real life. But am I not right in thinking that we got another spin?
A, that is Tom Roberts, of course, started this race. Didn't have a great start, did he? Ended up being tumbled down the order, and unfortunately it goes from bad to worse there. So he's going to be able to continue on, but nowhere near where he would want to have finished, I'm sure.
Oh dear, indeed. I mean, we we saw earlier, we were singing the praises of Surrey B. They've gone for that spin. They've had an unsafe release penalty as well, so clearly rejoining the circuit in a less than ideal manner, giving themselves a penalty as well. So bad to worse in this race then for Surrey B. A few drivers still squabbling there as they head in through the S's section. Getting picked up by our fantastic crew out there on circuit at the moment today for Alpha Live. Move down into the hairpin. That's the 7 of Exeter A trying to make a move. They gain a place, but then they lose one on the exit. The 70 of De Montfort A cuts round the outside. This is battling amongst the lower end of the teens and high 20s then as they head on through this lap. Just over 15 minutes left to go in this one. It was, oh, that's a big off there. Right towards the camera, you can still just see the top of his helmet then as he rejoins the circuit, but less than ideal for that driver. Chopped straight back in front of I believe it's the Trent driver on the 15, is it? Yeah, Nottingham Trent there in third place. So got to be a bit careful about an unsafe rejoin there. I think they were just about okay from that one.
Yeah, I remember back to my driving days there, that corner particularly tricky. Well, maybe for a more skilled driver it's not, but that used to catch me out quite a lot.
It is a tough one. It's the downhill braking and then in the camber of the corner as well really catches you out. If you hook it up perfectly, it feels fantastic. You can carry so much speed through. You get it slightly wrong and it really, really bites you. So it's a really, really tough one, that right-hander. It looks so simple from trackside here watching on the cameras, but when you're in the car, it is a really, really difficult one to get right. Well, there is your leader, Sheffield A then. Just over 3 seconds ahead of Loughborough A. Don't forget, though, Sheffield got that jump start penalty on the first lap. So they can't win this race at the end of this one, despite their fantastic run through so far. Over 3 seconds the gap now for the number 6, as they're now chopping through a few of the back markers. Oxford Brook Sailor, look at that side by side across the line. That's the 20 of Loughborough A, trying to get past a back marker. The back marker trying to take the racing line there, maybe being a little bit overly aggressive there on the defence. Either way, Loughborough A having to find a way through because there's no blue flags here in BUKC. You're coming through on the back markers. They probably don't even know that you're a leader coming through. As yellow flag again out at top bend. Another driver having an issue up there. But what I was going to mention is up into the top 10, now into 9th place go Oxford Brook Say. They have the fastest lap of this race, a 40.9. 83 there. Is that Oxford A again?
Yes,
finding the barriers.
Indeed. It is an unfortunate race for Oxford A. But as you say, you can put 50p in your John and Reeve commentary swear box, because we have said there's no blue flags in the BUKC. That's a common phrase. We can add that one to the list. But yeah, it does mean that the driver overtaking, the onus is on them to overtake safely and continue on with their race if they can do so there. As we see a very lively looking number 60 car there, that is Surrey B. As we have another spin, is this the same driver that I think we've seen a couple of times now? I think it could well be. It's a similar suit, if that is for sure. I'm not going to lay the blame on anyone.
It's Oxford A.
It's Oxford A. Oxford A with the red suit that we saw earlier on, but we're seeing this black suit as well. Plenty of familiar spinners then in race 3. Don't know if track conditions have miraculously changed in between race 2 and race 3, or are we just seeing these lightweight drivers just beginning to push on, knowing that their opportunities to score points are beginning to reduce by the second, by the lap. Now we're coming to an end of this 2025 British Universities Karting Championship season, and every point counts in this close battle.
Indeed it does. I think it's probably just a bit of a case of overdriving there for Oxford A. They were getting frustrated when they were in and amongst the battle pack, and now getting shuffled down the order, now having more issues. You have those issues, you get frustrated at yourself, you have more issues, you get more frustrated, and like we said in a couple of races ago, it's just a downward spiral there happening for Oxford A. And it's even more of a case in this race here at Clay Pigeon, because of course a lot of the drivers will be in Drivers' Champs later on, but only one round here today, unlike the rest of the rounds in the season where you've got your race in the morning, but you know, okay, if it all goes wrong, at least I've got the afternoon to have another go. Today, a lot of the drivers will not have that. This is the one race that they've got today. They're feeling a bit like an Inters driver, just having the single race to get it done. If it all goes wrong, that's it. No second chances.
No, there certainly are, and this is a circuit as well that doesn't offer many second chances. It's fairly unforgiving. It's a proper British old school track. If you go off, you are going off and into the distance. You're going to bring an end to your race pretty much, as we can see the number 8 driver there, Oxford Brooks A, making the most of... Oh, as we have...
Is that Oxford A?
I think that might be Oxford A once again, having a bit of an issue out on track. Either way, we go to Oxford Brooks A, who are, as I say, trying to make the most of a chance to score some points against Cardiff A in this race. We know it's going to be a very close fight indeed between those two, so every single position matters now in this fight. Not having a great race 2 were Oxford Brooks A, so this should make up for things.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, this is really good from them, from one of their rearward starts. Like we mentioned, the Cardiff rearward start earlier on, only getting themselves to about 15th, I think it was. This a lot better from Oxford Brookes A, well up into the top 10 now, and closing in onto the back of Southampton A. They've got about 2 seconds still to gain, though, as of course we saw earlier on in this race, those gaps extended pretty quickly. There is Exeter A making a move down the inside. Whereabouts are Exeter A? 16th place, so I think that was a move. Oh, no, that was the move on the 40, sorry. So not a change of position there. That was on a back marker, but they have overtaken the 19 of Swansea A earlier on in this lap. So up to 15th place then, go Exeter A. Now with Oxford Brookes, like we mentioned, up to 8th place then, followed by Derby A. Really close. Derby have been very impressive again in this race, so good to see them up in 9th place. Oxford Brookes A have had the fastest lap for pretty much all of this race, but it's just been taken in the last couple of laps courtesy of Sheffield A. Like we've said, to keep reminding you, they can't win this race, but incredible pace from Sheffield A out the front. And I will say, I did see the visor strip was a British Kart Championships visor strip, so clearly an experienced driver out there in kart number 6.
Experienced indeed. Plenty of Club 100 opportunities as well throughout the year. Of course, changes to the other championships, but we've added North and South divisions. The cadets are also making some changes as well. Plenty of Club 100 action going from strength to strength this year. Just over 10 minutes to go in this race. A couple of penalties coming in. Reading C, a spinning under yellows penalty there. UCLB, a cone penalty as well. I believe our first cone penalty of the day. Think of the cones, folks. The poor cones out there. Got to look after them. And it's easy to see why you might have picked up a cone penalty. If you knock that cone just over the apex, that is an indication that you've been going a little bit too aggressive into those corners, and it lets those marshals know that they need to give you some re-education. Another 50p.
one of our favourite words here in the commentary box. We've seen the cone get absolutely destroyed on the first lap at least once so far today, but I think they're a little bit more lenient in terms of first lap, especially down there at Billy's Blind, where everyone's trying to go 8 wide and everyone just ends up on the grass, and that poor curb, it just sat there terrified as the drivers funneled down towards him on the first lap. But either way, first cone penalty of the day then. I will say as well, we were talking about Coventry A in the last race, and this one not quite going so well for them, it seems. 2 penalties within about a minute of each other, forcing driver wide penalty and then an ABC ×2 for Coventry. So a decent race earlier on today. This one not quite going as well as they planned. But like we said, Coventry A and Coventry B nose to tail in the championship, and Coventry B doing very well in this one, up in P7 at the moment.
They are indeed, and Coventry B having a really strong day out in the afternoon in GYG. In fact, a strong day overall for Coventry B. The morning of GYG was their drop score for this year so far. So Coventry, with that consistency, might just overtake the 18 in the standings as things are looking here. Southampton A, we haven't talked too much about them. They're having a fairly good run of things. The first round, a bit of a round to forget really, but after that, Bookmore, GYG, all looking fairly strong for Southampton A. So let's see what they can do in round 7 here at Clay Pigeon. Bath A, Cardiff A and Oxford Brookes A are main protagonists for this championship fight. Both Brookes and Cardiff, you wouldn't say are having a really strong day so far, would you? They're having an okay day. They've had their good races, they've had their bad races so far.
Indeed, yeah, a little bit off colour for both of them really, struggling to remain consistent, and maybe do we put that down to the pressure of this round being a championship fight, it only being this one round. You get out there on circuit, it's your one opportunity as a driver to gain some points for your team heading towards the championship. Like we say, 3 points in it between Brookes A, Cardiff A and Bath A. Southampton still with an outside chance. We've got 2 drivers off there down at the first corner. The 37 of Southampton C being one of those. And I mean, they're very close with Liverpool A, UWE A, a couple of other teams as well. So we'll see who that is that joined them in the spinning.
I think I have a bit of a suggestion as to who it might have been. Just behind them, starting that lap, we're going to a full investigative here now. UWE gets a penalty for contact. So I wonder if possibly, hear me out here, the 2 karts that were spun off at the start of turn 1, that might have been a turn 1 incident. Just gonna go out on a good guess there. I'm just gonna say potentially.
Well, we've already seen. Was it Treasurer Watson out there? So we've got President Watson. Sorry, we've got Sherlock Holmes here in the comments box working that one out. So there, penalty there for UWE, and still drivers, even with 7 minutes to go, scrapping out there around this Clay Pigeon kart circuit, trying to find a few more places, trying to get a few more points as. Now we feel a bit sick here in the comments box. Either way, great coverage here from Alpha Live, and fantastic to bring you all the action here for BUKC of the finale in 2025. as more drivers funnel their way down into Billy's blind yet again, all trying to work themselves out. But again, now 5 seconds that gap at the sharp end for Sheffield A. Incredibly impressive stuff. And there are a few more drivers skipping on by there at the S's.
Yeah, we only mentioned the President Watts thing because, at least for my first time so far in the Club 100 running this year, we joined in with the teams in getting a Mackey's breakfast, the breakfast of champions. This has been my first breakfast of champions. It has been today. Went for a sausage and egg McMuffin with one of the cheesy bready things, and I'm just looking onwards to Piers, who's clearly the expert here, to see if he approves, and I think there is approval, so that's good. As we have penalty coming in for Huddersfield A. Huddersfield A, of course, starting on such a strong footing early on in race 1 today. High up the order, first few laps, first half of that race, looking really good for them. They haven't really had a standout result so far in the Clubbins, and they were looking like they were going to get that. Unfortunately, it's all kind of gone downhill from there, really, hasn't it? And they continue on with an ABC takeout penalty to Huddersfield A. So they are already running in at 28th on the road. It's going to drop back just that little bit more after all is said and done here.
It is indeed, yeah, less than ideal here in race number 3 for them. Loughborough A need to be a little bit careful here. They're in the driver's seat to take the win in this race when all is said and done and penalties are applied. They've just got themselves a contact warning, though, so they need to be careful. We don't want any more of those. Get themselves a silly penalty and lose the race win because of that. But that is the difficulty when you're coming through the back markers. Again, to mention, no blue flags in the BUKC. You've got to pick your way through the back markers without them maybe even realising you're there. Whether they realise that you're not fighting for position, you're coming through to lap them. They might not realise that, so you've just got to be a bit careful making those moves. And like we say, here at Clay Pigeon, you've got to send it to get the moves done. So you're really playing with fire, trying to make your way through the back markers. And Loughborough A potentially fall in a cropper of that one. UWEA. Contact warning coming through yet again for them. So we mentioned them as we saw the spin down at Biddy's blind. I think they might have done it again.
Oh dear. I keep saying race 3, I believe it's actually race 4. So plenty of spinners. Have I lost count of how many races we've had? I have lost count of how many races we've had. Ignore me. Anyway,
we've not got through the schedule quite that quickly.
No, it's an ever so efficient operation here with the Club 100, as it always is. They rattle through the races very quickly indeed. I think I've been caught out there by the fact the timing system at the bottom says the next race is race 4, and I've just had that in my eye the entire time. As we have a bump and pass penalty coming in there for Coventry C. Currently running in 10th on the road are Coventry C. Started 28th. So it's been a nice drive up with the field for Coventry C, but unfortunately a bit of a downward path in this race so far for Coventry C as they have that bump and pass penalty.
Indeed, we've had some massive movers so far in this race. Impressive stuff. Nottingham-Trent A up 15. We've got Southampton A up 15. Oxford Brooks A up 26. Coventry C up 18, like you mentioned. Warwick A up 18. Up 19 for Southampton B. Just ridiculous numbers out there. A number of drivers losing a couple of places, but some huge gains out there on circuit. And like we mentioned, it's less of a scrappy one than we saw at GYG. We often get in those big packs, and that just draws more drivers in. It's much more, you get on that pace, on that leading pace, and you can press on and make those overtakes and move your way through the field. And the pace really strong amongst the field. Of course, Sheffield A still with the fastest lap of a 40.915, but plenty of drivers down in the 40.9s as those two trying to go side by side there through the S's. 40.9 though for Loughborough A, 40.9 for Nottingham-Trent A. Same again for Oxford Brooks A as well. Same again for Coventry C. So a number of drivers getting down into those very impressive lap times. There's one driver there down the inside at the corner, realised he'd made contact, tried to let a driver through, and ended up colliding with another driver in avoidance. As there's more issues there, as one driver nearly gets turned by a back marker as they try and make their way through. Need to get the space though. It's on the onus of the overtaking driver to make it work cleanly, and Loughborough C nearly getting turned around there. Luckily they held the slide.
They did hold that slide indeed, so nicely held, and Loughborough C enjoying a bit of inter-kart communication, shall we say, between our fleet of cars as we go on board with Sheffield A, our race leader, leading by nearly 6 seconds. New fastest lap for Sheffield A. Apologies, it was close to fastest lap, but wasn't quite their new fastest. It was just a reminder for them that it is a 40.9 out in the lead of this race. And just look at that nice air gap that they've got. They can afford to maybe not go 100% now towards the end of this race. Just need to cruise that kart home with such a nice margin to the Loughborough A kart behind. It's been a great drive out for Sheffield, of course. Starting high up the order, have a penalty to serve though. That jump start penalty means that they are not going to come home first on the road, but still a P2, P3. they're not bad positions at all to be taking home. Still plenty of points to add to the tally there for Sheffield A, Loughborough A and Trent A. Massive move, as you alluded to earlier, John. Look, making up 10th on the grid for Loughborough A, up into 2nd. Trent A, 18th on the grid, up into 3rd. So they're having an almighty drive, and it's Loughborough, currently on paper, who lead this race, as we see Sheffield getting past some back markers. The only real challenge for Sheffield out on track at the moment.
Indeed, yeah.
Apart from the regulations.
Exactly, yeah. Trying to pick it through safely and not get themselves another penalty at the end here. Like we mentioned, jump start penalty at the start. That's going to be +2 positions when penalties are applied, and all is said and done at the end of this one. So currently looking to bring home a 3rd place, which is still a great performance from the Sheffield driver. However, he's always going to be a bit gutted about that one. One, because you win by nearly 7 seconds now. You feel a bit aggrieved that you've not actually taken the win when all is said and done. But particularly for Sheffield, because I still think that they maybe feel that they were assisted into that penalty by the driver that was behind them on the grid. So a bit of a difficult one. Either way, they've had a jump start. They've got that penalty. It's done. It's final. You can't go and appeal that here in the BUKC. Penalty is done. Still a 3rd place. They should be very happy with that, and some good points to be applied then. 20 seconds left to go on the clock. They head through Top Bend to Sheffield A, and I think they're going to lead us on to the final lap here of Reeve, race number 3.
It is indeed, yeah, thank you for confirming. Definitely race number 3. That means 4 comes after 3. I'm glad. I'm learning these things as I go along.
Sherlock Holmes is improving here in the comms box.
Yes. But yeah, Sheffield A starting this all-important final lap here for the Coyotes, which has led from start to finish. Mighty impressive drive there, coming up on some more lap traffic in a moment, but just need to focus on bringing this car home now. Contact warnings coming in for Trent A behind. I suspect there's a bit of a gap between them, so I suspect that's just some lap traffic that Trent A is trying to contend with at the moment, but that is not going to be concerning Sheffield A. What is going to be concerning Sheffield is rounding the final right-hander and jumping on to the start-finish straight to, at least on the road, take race victory. They're going to lose some positions after penalties, but still a remarkable drive for Sheffield A when all is said and done. Up next, it's going to be Loughborough A who come home 2nd, who will take race victory here at Clay Pigeon for race 3 ahead of Trent A, Renegade, Nottingham A, Southampton A, Brooks A, Coventry B, Derby A and Coventry C are top 10 for race 3.
You saw there the Loughborough squad at the side of the track celebrating as their team member came across the line, and they know that he'll be taking the win once all is said and done, and I'm sure we'll hear from them in a moment's time from Piers. But could that be crucial there at the end? 6th place stolen away from Oxford Brooks A on the last lap from Southampton A, 2 of our championship contenders here at the final round. So all things still slowly playing out. Of course, we're not going to know how that all affects the championship until after the last race of the day, and we now find ourselves halfway through. Race 3 is completed. We will go through to race number 6. Let's just quickly have a look at the full results then from race number 3 before we head on down to Piers. So here we go then. Sheffield A win it on the road, but it'll be Loughborough A who take it after penalties. They're followed by Nottingham Trent A, Reading A, Nottingham A, Southampton A, Oxford Brooks A, Coventry B, Derby A and Coventry C your top 10. Then it was Oxford Brooks C, Warwick A, Coventry A, Exeter A, Swansea A, UCL A, Southampton B, Cambridge B, Bristol B, De Montfort A, Loughborough C, Liverpool A, Bath B, Birmingham A, Huddersfield A, Oxford A, UWE A, Southampton C, Sheffield C, Surrey B, Lancaster A, Reading C, Reading B, Loughborough D, UCL B, Bristol C, and University of Life. Sadly, they did come in last in this one.
Someone's got to. So
it is true. Often it was us, I think. But luckily we're here in the comms box now. So looks as though we're good to hear from a few more drivers then. We'll head down to Mr. Piers Prior.
Down here on the grid, I'll grab a word with some of our drivers, and I want to grab a word with our University of Life driver. How was it out there for you?
27 years ago it'd have been all right, but geez. Yeah,
25 minutes is a long time, right?
Good fun, but yeah, I need to stay out of the way of everyone else. It's carrying a bit of extra ballast, and yeah, I'm certainly going to feel it tomorrow, that's for sure.
But all part of the fun.
Yeah, great fun.
And we'll see you back out again this afternoon, I believe.
We'll see.
Don't forget your number and transponder, of course. Yeah, of course you've got to do that. Right, I want to grab a word with our eventual winner on the road, who was Sheffield. Unfortunately, a jump start penalty meant that he was not able to keep hold of that. I think they may have already got... No, they're at the back, I can see them. We grabbed a word with him ahead of the race. Also, a great drive from Oxford Brooks A in that one. I was keeping an eye on that. They went from pretty much last up inside, well inside the top 10. But our driver from Sheffield A was our man here. Come chat to me. You know, with pace like that, you don't need to jump the start.
No, I wasn't jumping, so I got pushed from behind.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
My hand signal was, the guy behind me was pushing me, so I was in front of the lead car, but...
That is unfortunate.
I don't know. Right, it is what it is.
Still.
It's racing. Still, I'm quite happy with the result. Yeah.
A good result for Sheffield. They don't often tend to see a Sheffield win by 7 seconds.
Yeah. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest.
Are you racing this afternoon?
I am racing this afternoon, yes. Yeah.
We'll see that. I already asked you that. Right, good, well done. Unlucky at the start. It's a shame to hear that he was pushed over the line, but hey, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. Right, looking ahead now to race number 4, heavyweight race number 2. This one looks like it's going to be pretty stacked. We've got a lot of drivers I recognise. I'm going to jump on the outside so that we can make our way through the grid. I hope everyone's enjoying the live broadcast so far. If you are, drop us a like if you want to on YouTube. Let us know you're watching by the comments over here, and also if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to Alpha Live. We recently hit the milestone of 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Plenty of racing action live every weekend, and even during the week, like here at the BUKC. So well worth a subscription, plus some lots of short form content which I slam together, which is entertaining as well. Right, who's going from the front row? This was probably Bath C.
Hello there.
Hello, what's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan, you're Bath C, correct?
Yes.
Ryan, what's your chance of a good result in this one?
Slim to none.
Slim to none. Why is that?
Because what do you do when you're second place?
Well, you have to go over the line second. You're not allowed to go over the line ahead of the car on the right.
Yes.
And then after that, you drive.
And you probably take out the pole sitter.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Anyway, this sounds like it's going to be an entertaining start to the race. We've got cameramen and women taking cameras. Who are you?
Sam from Leeds.
Sam from Leeds. That's a convenient surname considering you're actually go to Leeds University.
Oh.
Sam from Leeds.
Yeah, Sam Garbutt. I'm not a racer. I'm just the cameraman for Leeds.
Just the cameraman. So all the wonderful photos we see online are through this wonderful thing here. What degree do you do at university?
So I did film photography and media. I graduated in December, hence why I'm not racing anymore. Had a go last year in Inters, was all right. Did a few things back home in the UAE, but now it's just really fun getting to see these guys improve round to round. And yeah, it's been fantastic this year. A lot of progress, sort of building for the future.
Sam, thank you very much for catching up with us. I've never interviewed someone who's looked more scared in my life. Anyway, moving forward, let's have a grab a word with Giulio Peroni for Loughborough. Giulio, how's things, mate?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm looking forward to getting back on track this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll see you later this afternoon, eh?
Are you in the lightweights as well?
Yeah.
Which heats?
I haven't even checked.
Of course you haven't. Why would I have think you'd checked? I know what you like. Giulio, P4 on this one. It's not been horrific. Loughborough took a first in that last one.
Yeah. It was a good race. Let's see what we can do from here, I guess. Inside, starting at the front. If we have the pace, I think it can be a good race.
What's your form around here, Giulio? I can't remember. Are you good round here?
I don't know. I've done a couple races here, but I usually start from the back here, so I don't really know too much, but I think it was decent last time. Yeah.
Well, you've got a good chance in this one, starting P3. We'll see how you get on. Giulio for Loughborough A, always entertaining. He's quick on circuit, not so much out behind the scenes. He always used to turn up late and not know what he was doing. But hey, it's all that matters is driving the go-karts fast. Right, another Oxford Brooks driver in this one. You are racing for your own team in this one. Yes, you are. A very good race in that last one for your team, made up for Seb's unfortunate incident. What can you do in this one, Alfie?
Oh, I'm going to see what I need a good finish here. It's the second time I've ever raced here, so as long as I know where I'm going, aiming for top 5. Top 5 would be good.
We'll keep an eye out for you in the top 5. Right, well, time for one more interview, I think. Let's go down towards the back of the grid. Have I got time? I think I do. Yeah, I do. Right, who are you? Who are you racing for?
It's Joel Bates.
Oh, I've already spoken to you. No, to someone else. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
Elliot Price, Lancaster A.
Elliot Price, Lancaster A. What are you going to do in this race?
I'll see what I can do from back here. Hopefully win.
Hopefully win. We'll see how you get on. That's the number 35. He's going to win from right at the back of the grid. We'll see about that. Anyway, for the 4th time today, let's go racing.
Thank you as always, Mr. Prior. Yeah, Lancaster B there, 34th on the grid, but feeling feisty. And I mean, they had a Senna visor strip on as well, so if that's anything to go by, they should be cutting through the order.
Absolutely. I mean, if you no longer go for a gap that exists.
Exactly.
Hello to Call of Jules in the YouTube chat who says, is the domains round 8 if driver champs are in the afternoon? That is correct. Yes, 7 rounds and then driver champs. But here we go, some grids for race wars. Warwick A, Bath C, Loughborough A and Leeds D, followed by Coventry C and Sheffield B, the first 3 rows of the grid. Moving on then, it will be a spinning driver. Coventry B, Southampton C, Reading B, Sheffield C, De Montfort A and Liverpool B, row 4, 5 and 6. Then we have Bristol C, Oxford Brook C, Surrey B, Lancaster A, Brooks A and Loughborough B. We move on to the 10th row of the grid, where it's Cardiff A, Southampton B, Bath A, Reading A, Coventry A and Bath B, row 10, 11 and 12. Swansea A, Bath D, Huddersfield A, Reading C, Brooks B and Nottingham A, row 13, 14 and 15. And then we move on to row 16, which will be Edinburgh A, Yukon A, row 17, Loughborough D, Lancaster B, UCL A and Sheffield A on row 18. We then move on to no one else, actually, no Union of Life participants in this race. So it's a still very packed 36 card grid for our race for second heavyweight race of the day.
It is indeed. It's row 9, 10 and 11 that I'm going to be keeping my eye on in this one. Oxford Brooks A, P17. Cardiff A, P19. Bath A, P21. That means the 3 championship contenders are going to be line astern at the start of this race. That could make it rather exciting. And in and amongst them as well, Reading A, Coventry A, all there in and amongst it as well. So, yeah, this is going to be very exciting. Be sure to watch that mid-pack, specifically at the start of this one, and see how it all goes. But Warwick A, though, starting on pole position, they've given us offerings here in the comms box. It maybe hasn't worked quite so well over the previous couple of races, but we'll forget that. They're starting in pole on this one. It's going to be a positive one.
Maybe it's because we haven't opened them yet.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I reached over to them.
All in preparation for drivers' champs.
You'll
want to stay tuned for the afternoon,
see how that
folks.
goes. Yeah, oh my goodness. Right, anyway, yeah, race number 4, like we say then, into the second half of racing already here today for round number 7. As the drivers head on around the circuit, get themselves used to it again, because of course, that's what it should be. All brand new drivers to the circuit, all having not taken the circuit already today. As we know, maybe a couple of ineligibles cracking on and doing a couple of races, but it should be anyway. Drivers all taking to the circuit for the first time in anger so far today. We'll pace car back out onto the circuit, then drivers all heading round, and we'll see them starting to try and get back in some sort of formation, ready for the start of this race. But like we say then, we've not really seen any team particularly stand out from the championship contenders that we've seen. They've sort of been a bit higgledy-piggledy, a little bit all over the place. So no real team where we can confidently say at the moment, yep, they're looking good here to take the championship. Still very much all to play for. And like I mentioned, with them all line astern for this one, this could be the key race of the day.
Yeah, I think our battle for the championship is going to literally appear to us out on track as well. As we go around once more to get formed up. Bath Egg are only kind of top team in that fight for the championship, who've actually won a race so far today. So that's pretty huge stuff there for Bath A. That will allow them to close up just that little bit more, but we'll see as we get further on into these races a true idea of how things are shaping up.
Exactly that, yeah. Let's see how it all goes then. Looks as though drivers have managed to get them all into a relative order here, into the grid positions that they should be in. I've just spotted as well, the driver on the grid for this one in Cardiff A is Mr. Fraser Brunton. I've seen him take a few wins so far this season. Will it be another one here from the middle of the pack? We go racing then, 36 and the 16, side by side. Warwick A and Bath A take to the start of this race then. We head down towards Billy's Blind for the first time, and already drivers flirting with the grass. One driver around in the middle of the pack, 2 drivers finding the exit curb, and 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 drivers coming a bit of a cropper there at the first corner. Another half spin there, just about holds that one.
Nicely
well done,
held.
sir. I think that was the 54 of Oxford Brook C there holding that slide.
That was indeed, and it's becoming a recurring theme. I alluded to it at the very start of the broadcast that we may have a few spinners at turn 1. We've got a few spinners further into the lap as well. We've seen that be a bit of a favourite spinning spot, but usually they're just kind of your own volition. But there it was, a bit of contact causing a few drivers to spin around there. A bit of a scruffy start then to our second heavyweight race of the day, as we see the number 36 of Bath C looking over the shoulder. They've lost a position, looking over that shoulder to Southampton C, as it's all changed at the top end of the field, unless you are Warwick A, who is trying to have just a nice comfortable drive out there.
Exactly, yeah. With the gifts to the comms box, it's going to be a simple race win in this one for Warwick A, I'm sure. They pressed on nicely anyway in the first part of this race. But a driver who's raced for Team UAE all over the back of their race suit there is pressing on in second place in the Loughborough A kart, looking to try and close down that gap that Warwick A have made in the opening part of this race and see if they can steal the race win away. Well, they're still all squabbling there down into Top Bend. That was the 27 of Sheffield B being overtaken there as they headed through the corner, the 79 and the 25. Going through as well, side by side still then for Sheffield B as they try and fight their way back through. I think that's potentially Benjamin Southgate, is it, in on the Pro Train suit there as he heads through the S's. Potentially another Southgate. Apologies, Mr. Southgate, if I've got that one wrong. They head on down, but look, it's Fraser Brunton trying to move down the inside. Aggressive there to the inside from the number 5 Cardiff A car. And it looks as though out of the championship contenders in this race, who, to remind you, all started line astern in this one, it's been the best start for Cardiff A. Reading A have done well up into 13th, but of course not really in the championship challenge in this one. I look down for the rest of them. Oxford Brookes A are down to 30th place. So clearly Oxford Brookes getting involved in one of those, I think we had 3 big incidents on the first lap of this race.
Yes.
Clearly they were involved in it. Same with Bath A. They're only in 21st now. They gained 2 places on the last lap around. They didn't gain anything over the first 2 laps of this race either. So calamities for 2 of our 3 championship contenders at the start of race number 4.
And if you bring into account the earlier race for Brookes A, where things were not looking strong for them either, you have to say it's starting to look better and better for Cardiff A out there on track at the moment, wouldn't you?
Indeed. Cardiff A, realistically, need to win this race.
Yeah.
They need to win this race. Bath A have already put a race win on the board, getting themselves some nice points, and this could be the deciding factor whether Fraser Brunton can press on and take a race win here. There he is on the number 5. Fraser, of course, Club 100 sprint champion last year, maybe the year before. Either way, he's taken the lightweight sprints victory across a season, which is very impressive in and of itself. He takes his hand to BUKC here for Cardiff, I believe, for the final time for Cardiff. I think after this year he'll be too old to be racing for the team, which is going to be a huge loss for the Cardiff team moving into 2026.
He can join the University of Life team at that point, and I'm sure they might see some slightly improved results.
He does work for Club 100 as well,
Exactly.
I think, Fraser Brunton,
Yeah.
so he does have the opportunity to jump back in. Even if it's not for Uni of Life, he can be a kart tester out there and feel like he's getting in amongst the battles at least.
Anyway, 21 minutes on the clock in these 25-minute, in quotation marks, sprint races. They are fairly long and arduous, though, if you're out there on track. Because these are some fairly fast karts as well, and it's a pretty quick circuit at certain points. It is a Clay Pigeon, so after you've got a day's worth of racing, you're certainly going to feel potentially a bit of a sore neck, a bit of sore arms if you maybe, like myself, and haven't gone to the gym anywhere near as much as you should. As we see penalty coming in for Edinburgh A, the bump and pass penalty. That is not ideal. That'll be a few grid positions knocked off the final results for the Edinburgh A karts, as we see a couple more contact warnings coming in as well. Surrey B, after having some fairly decent highs early on in the day, have unfortunately not quite had the past couple of races to remember, really. GYG was a massive standout result for them. They've been kind of traipsing around the lower midfield order in terms of results, and then GYG, they were right at the top end of the running, hoping to continue that on. It looked like they were going to, and then it all has sort of come unravelled here as we see driver running a little bit wide. That is Bath C running in third, as we say. Not an ideal line there, not the quickest way to navigate your way around Clay Pigeon, and not what you need with 20 minutes to go in this race. Although if you are going to have your mistakes, get them done early on.
Exactly that. I think it was Leeds D and Southampton C that have slipped on by then in all of that one. Yeah, like you were mentioning, Surrey B having a great performance at GYG, and it's Surrey A who lead the Inters Championship, which we'll see tomorrow. Of course, a little bit confusing. I think there was a slight mess up in the Surrey team at qualifiers at the end of 2024, so it all went a little bit wrong. So they've got their B team in the mains, but their A team down in Inters. Their A team doing very well. Their B team still doing very well here in the Clubman class, but yeah, not quite going to plan so far today. Like you mentioned already, getting a penalty. We've had another cone penalty come through. Swansea A this time, it's for them. We've seen the fastest lap jumping around between a few drivers. Cardiff A had it for a brief moment, then it went to Reading A, who are still trying to cut through the field. They're in 12th place as we head into 20 minutes left to go. But now it goes to Loughborough A, and Loughborough A go to the lead of the race. Down the inside they go at Billy's Blind. Great move down the inside, lovely, beautifully weighted under the brakes there. Trying the up and on the exit though are Warwick A. They're still going to be side by side here, down into the hairpin, that outside line. A very tricky one, though, down at the hairpin with the amount of camber on the corner. They've done the up and under, but again, on the outside into the horseshoe, a difficult place to get it done. They will get forced down into second place, but they are still trying to fight back here into top bend.
They absolutely are. The Warwick A car looking quite confident on the run exit of corners there as we head down the inside. Warwick A positioning themselves perfectly onto that final corner to say, thank you very much, you're going to have to fight for it all over again. As you say, it was a textbook move, wasn't it, John, into that first corner on the previous lap. Will it be the same thing once again? The gap is open. There's clearly some displeasure in the cars from the Warwick A. A bit of contact on the way through. Warwick A potentially being a little bit loaded there into that first corner. Loughborough A do make their way through, but the question is, was it a clean move? Warwick A is going to have to do it all over again then to try and find a way past, but we know Warwick are strong on corner exit. Can they mount a charge through that final part of the lap like they did last time around? Well, we're about to find out, folks, as we head away back onto the start finish straight in just a moment. But Loughborough A pushing on, go too wide, go over the curb, go past the curb, go onto the grass and lose the position. Warwick A feeling like that's a bit of redemption, I suspect, as we start the next lap with Warwick A back in the lead.
Yeah, I think so. Just a plain mistake on their own there for Loughborough A. Trying to carry a bit too much speed on. Got a bit slidey. Off onto the grass they went. They did a good job to just hold onto the cart there as they jumped across the grass on the outside. They slipped back down to second place. But like you say, I think Warwick A feeling like they deserved that one a little bit with the loading down into Billy's blind. Loughborough A did get a contact warning for that one. They've also got a track limit warning as well, both on the last lap. So Loughborough are needing to be a little bit careful through the second part of this race to make sure they don't get a penalty. But this is exactly what Fraser Brunton in fourth place wants to see ahead of him. There's nearly 5 seconds back to that battle for third from these two in the lead of the race. And of course, them scrapping like they are doing now there through Billy's blind, side by side on the exit, and back through goes Loughborough A. This is holding them both up and is going to allow for the drivers in behind to close back in. Fraser Brunton's got the move done though. Into third place he goes. He's chasing down the leaders. Big slide there into the hairpin for Loughborough A. They go wide and up and under go Warwick A yet again.
I thought that might happen there. You saw Warwick A darting towards the outside. You could tell he was going to go as late on the brakes as humanly possible. Loughborough respond by going even later. Kick at the oversteer to get the cart rotated as you stamp on those brakes. Of course, these carts only have one braked axle, which can upset the balance ever so slightly under harsh braking. And Warwick do continue ahead of Loughborough A. And hello to your real nemesis in the YouTube comments, who quite rightly states, I think, the old Fernando Alonso quote of all of the time you must leave the space. That is a good mantra for this battle. We saw it getting a little bit too close to comfort at one point, but other than that, I must say, some fairly strong, nice racing between these two otherwise.
Yeah, they've been decently feisty, haven't they? Race room given most of the time between these two, and they're battling on well. Neither of them have got a penalty so far, so nothing too untoward here for the number 16 and the number 20. You can see, though, Cardiff A now leading the charge in the group in behind them. But that gap, you can just see it there on that static camera there at top bend. The gap that it is, of course, we know it's 5 seconds, but when you really see what 5 seconds is out there, that's a monstrous gap to try and chase down. And like we say, really does need to be a race win here for Cardiff A, as that is JV, isn't it? Is it not, on the inside there at the barriers, fixing it all? I mean, he's more confident than I am there, stood at the apex of the S's, but JV trusting the BUKC drivers out there to avoid him, and they did.
I think the drivers respect JV so much that if he was to just stand in front of the cart, it would automatically just stop, I think, to be fair. So JV, moving those tyre barriers to make sure that the tyre barriers are protected and his carts are protected as well, I think, there. So 50 minutes to go in this race, and we're still seeing this battle between Warwick A and Loughborough A continuing on as we head on to the start-finish straight. This time it's going to be Warwick defending from the inside there. Loughborough A get the switch back, though, through that first corner. Nicely executed by Loughborough A with a great charge through that first corner. Kept the momentum up, kept the revs high, and they get the cards back into the lead of this race. But we're going to see a replica of the previous attempt here, where we both stamp late on the brakes. Warwick A get the position back because Loughborough just go a little bit too deep into the corner with that snap of oversteer, and Warwick once again lead this race. I think we could have this for the next 40 minutes of the race, and I certainly hope so.
That was absolutely identical to the last couple of laps. Exactly the same happened again. Wide on the brakes then for Loughborough A, and they lose the position yet again. I mean, less than ideal to be making the same mistake twice there for Loughborough A, and again they lose the lead because of it. Fantastic battling between these two. I do hope we see this for the last 15 minutes of this race. This is the first sort of proper leading battle that we've had after the first 5 minutes of the race so far here today at Clay Pigeon, and brilliant to see these two going at it out there around Clay Pigeon Raceway. Loughborough A trying to find some space on the outside there as they head through into the horseshoe, trying to get a good exit here to set it up into top bend. We'll see if that works out, and make sure you're keeping your eye on the left hand side of your screen to that gap back to Cardiff A in third place. It's dropped from 5.2 to 4.2 in the last couple of laps. Still plenty of work to be done though by Cardiff A. Just having a quick look at the rest of the teams that we're watching out for here. We won't know. Down the inside once again go Loughborough A. They love that move down into Billy's Blind. They've got it done yet again. Through the S's they go. Will we see 3 for 3 here down at the hairpin in terms of Loughborough going a bit too deep and Warwick going up and under?
Wise to it this time as Loughborough decide, you know what, I'm not happy with replicating that once more, so Loughborough just move out slowly to the outside. Warwick follow them through. Loughborough and Warwick learning from each other then as we head further into this race. This is a great race shaping up between these two drivers, and it must be said, they're doing an almighty job of managing the pace out in front as well. Cardiff A, 4 seconds back, that is Fraser Brunton, so a mighty fast driver, but currently matching them in terms of pace out on track. So these two are battling and still able to maintain a nice, safe gap to the cars behind.
Yeah, I mean, Fraser's got clear air here, so you would really expect him to be really closing down that gap to the leaders, but it just doesn't seem to be happening at the moment, does it? We'll keep an eye on it. I was going to mention Bath A in 11th place now with the fastest lap of the race. Oxford Brookes A still in 30th place, so they've just got up to 29th on the last lap, but this is definitely going to have to be the race that doesn't count towards their round points in this one. A very low finish for this one, but anyway, let's see how this all plays out then. Continuing to watch these two leaders as they've changed again at the front, have they? Yes, Warwick A back through on Loughborough, and they're wise to the move down at Billy's Blind this time. We know that Loughborough love the send down the inside there at Billy's Blind. Covered off this time though by the number 16.
Yeah, we'll see if there's going to be any change as we head back into the hairpin once more. There is a look back to Fraser Brunton as we go pretty much side by side. Down the inside goes Loughborough A as they are starting between each other into the braking zone. There's only one way that's going to end, and luckily it wasn't facing the opposite direction for these two as we head now towards the end of the lap. See Warwick A having a look around the outside, see if they can find a way past, but no, it's not going to be. Yeah, they can indeed. Where did that come from? That was a nice run for Warwick there, and I think Loughborough once again braving it by trying to run wide and touch those curbs. It went wrong for them substantially a few laps back, and it nearly went wrong that time around as you see Warwick retake the lead of this battle.
Yeah, that was really, really nice from Warwick. They set that up through the horseshoe to get the better exit, looking for the move down the inside at Billy's Blind, but it opened up even before the corner. A little bit wide for a Loughborough A. Flirted with that exit curb, bumped over it a little bit, lost that exit speed, and through went Warwick A. Great racing from the driver behind the wheel of the number 16, and that gap has closed once again, given that battling. 3.5 seconds now back to Fraser Brunton in Cardiff A, but is he closing in quickly enough? There's Adam Nather on the Sheffield A cart there in 8th place, so he's got Bath C just ahead of him now. He's overtaken Liverpool B then, so he's up to 7th place is Adam, and a couple of penalties coming through then. Oxford Brookes C getting a curb penalty then. But to be fair, this race has been really good in terms of penalties. I think we've only had, we've had 4 the entirety of the race, and I probably curse that now, but well done to all the drivers out there on the black stuff.
Yeah, and for the most part, they're not major penalties. Still, no penalties is better than some, but they're not substantial, shall we say, as we see some intercart communication going on in our mid-pack now.
Sheffield A through on Bath C for 6th place, that was. Adam just wanted to work together and press on towards the leaders. We know Adam's got great pace. If I remember correctly, he was a race winner at GYG, was Adam. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head whether he got a penalty or not. Either way, it was definitely a win on the road for the number 6. And Sheffield still a very, very impressive team. Up into the top 6 they go then. But Warwick and Loughborough still as they were, still very much nose to tail. But Warwick, the driver, still ahead as we head into the final 10 minutes of this race.
Yep, this race absolutely flying by then with this fantastic battle for the lead going on between Warwick and Loughborough. Of course, starting fairly high up the order, our biggest mover of the race really is, well, it's not Cardiff A, it's actually Sheffield A, who started 36th on the grid.
Last.
Yeah, plumb last for Sheffield A, and they have managed to work their way up in at 2P6. So that's an almighty drive there from our Sheffield cart as well as our Cardiff cart, but we're enjoying this battle as it approaches its final few minutes in this race. 10 minutes left to go. As we see them now heading down towards the hairpin. It's Warwick ahead of Loughborough. What tricks up the sleeves of these two drivers are we going to see coming on display here? As we see them both, I think, acknowledging the existence of the marshals there. So I'm not sure if they got a bit too elbows out at some point.
I think that was Warwick just being a bit frustrated again, feeling like they were loaded a little bit into the corner anyway. A little bit of front to rear contact between the 16 and the 20, but yeah, nothing too bad, nothing worthy of a penalty there. I will say as well, yeah, really impressive for Sheffield, up 30 places. Not only is it impressive being up 30 places, it's impressive doing that and not getting a single penalty for Sheffield. They've now moved their way up into 5th place. They're through on Coventry B. I do believe they're right on the back of Leeds D now for 4th place as well. So Adam Nather really pressing on in this race. I will say though, there's a move for the lead down the inside at the hairpin. Through goes Loughborough A once again. Up and under go Warwick A. They're on the outside line though. The 20 covers it off as they head through. Let's see if Warwick A can replicate what they did a few laps ago then, trying the up and under, trying to get that inside line here into top bend. They do get the inside line into top bend. Back through goes Warwick A. What a squabble this has been between these two. Warwick just seems to have the measure at the moment of Loughborough A. Anything that Loughborough throws at them, he has a response, does the driver of the number 16. But again, feeling like he's loaded there into Billy's blind. The number 20, Loughborough A, needs to be a bit careful there. Warwick A again getting forced out a little bit wide. And they're not going to be too happy with that one. Back to the outside goes the number 16. Can't quite make it work this time. I was just saying how the gap had actually increased to Cardiff A. With this battling, it's closing up yet again, but maybe not quite fast enough.
Yeah, it's been ebbing and flowing, but as you say, now 3 seconds is that margin down to Cardiff A. Lisa, though, what about it shaping up to be? It looks like that Loughborough A might just have that a bit more confidence at the first half of the lap. Maybe that confidence is showing itself in some elbows out driving potentially as we head into that first corner. But Warwick A, especially with those runs on corner exit there, having control of that second half of the lap, as you say, and really bringing a charge back. They're not going to have an opportunity to battle now, as we can see waved yellows as JV looks onwards to our two drivers going elbows out and squabbling on the defence there. Loughborough A saying, no way you're getting past Sunshine, as we head into this hairpin once more, looking over the shoulder to see that Warwick A still very much on the scene as he tries to find a way past. Here's where it's gone quite well over the past few laps for Warwick A. The run through to the final corner here. Are we going to see that same run down the inside? We are not. We're not going to be able to, in fact, because there's a bit of a gap now beginning to build up between these two carts. By a bit of a gap, I mean less than 3/10, which is, compared to the rest of the laps, we've had a sizable chasm, but it's still pretty much nothing, less than a cart length or around about a cart length as we head into the next lap. But looking slightly further back on the pack here. Here is our rest of our drivers now as we start the next lap.
That was Bath A, I think, getting the move done for 6th place on Leeds D there, down into Billy's blind. So good move through. And Bath again, one of your championship contenders here, heading into round number 7. Doing a great job there, moving up through the order, gaining a few more points for the team. And that's going to help particularly in their squabble with Cardiff A, as Cardiff haven't been able to move through. And it does look as though Sheffield A are right on the back now of Cardiff A. We could see a change of 3rd place here in the final 6 minutes of racing, and that's going to be less than ideal for Cardiff's championship charge. They're shown on the left-hand side of your screen on the timing tower. Move done for 6th place then from Bath A. Here is that battle for 3rd place. Adam Nather versus Fraser Brunton, two very experienced drivers in these Club 100 karts. But will we see Adam go for a move anytime soon? Will they work together to try and press on towards the leaders? Well, Adam's cut through the pack, as we mentioned. Over 30 places gained now for Adam. Maybe he'll just think, well, I've done it all myself previously in this race. I think I'll carry on doing it by myself. We'll wait and see then as they head on through. We close in towards 5 minutes set to go here in race number 4.
Yeah, Adam's had some great pace so far in this race. A few tenths faster, his best, compared to Fraser Brunton. But Fraser, this is going to be a crucial race, of course, for Cardiff A. They've got this advantage at the moment over the other championship contenders, as there's a big spin.
That was Bath A. That was Bath A into Coventry B. Now, could that be a penalty for Bath A? That could be big for the championship there. It was just a little bit too late down the inside at Billy's blind from Bath A. Door was closed by Coventry B, and that little bit of contact saw them spinning round. These cars.
Penalty confirmed.
Penalty confirmed, yeah. Bath A, ABC takeout. That's going to be a number of positions added on at the end, and that is not good for Bath A. That's the issue, though, with these carts. They being slightly heavier, a little tap like that, it's so difficult to catch them, and Coventry B couldn't do it that time.
Yeah, they've got the weight, but they still don't have any decent long wheelbase to try and keep that stability in the cars there. And that is, as you say, disastrous, really, for the championship hopes. Cardiff A are running out in third at the moment. They're going to try and defend from Sheffield to maintain that, of course. But Bath A down in 6th. They're going to be lower than that after penalties. And Oxford Brookes A down in 26th, behind the C team at the moment. This has been an utterly disastrous race when all is said and done for Brookes A. And now, if you were to place your bets, folks, Cardiff A running in third on the road at the moment, looking very strong in this championship.
I still can't call this. This is still way too close to call. I will say, though, ABC takeout, the biggest penalty that you can get here. +6 places when all is said and done. Bath A are on the back of Leeds D, so you think you would assume, there you go, on the timing tower, they managed to get past, and Liverpool B follow them on through. So now it will be 11th place once penalties are applied for Bath A, which still not a bad result, but not what they'll be wanting from this one. We said, will it be immediately through for Sheffield A? It certainly hasn't been. They've been following well, but gap has stayed pretty much the same to the leaders, and now, after finally getting the move fully done for the number 20 of Loughborough A, they have started to clear off at the front. Nearly a second now, the gap between Loughborough and Warwick.
They have indeed. A battle that we enjoyed for so long in this race appears to be settled now. You get the sense that the frustration was brewing in that battle, so perhaps it is best that things have settled down a little bit more. No penalties at the front end for those two to contend with. No incidents on track for those two to contend with there. So perhaps a suitable denouement to that battle then. It was enjoyable while we got to watch it.
It was indeed a fantastic squabble for the lead of the race for the first at least half of this one. Great to see the battling going on right at the sharp end here in BUKC. Of course, there's been battles galore throughout the order in all of the races, but we have seen it a little bit sparse at the sharp end so far today. A lot of drivers driving off into the sunset. Like the last race you saw, winning by, 6, 7, 8 seconds on the road for Sheffield. Of course, getting that penalty when all was said and done. But either way, we continue to watch this battle here for third place. Fraser trying to pick his way through a back marker, and of course, just being a little bit careful about that one. Penalty for ABC takeout for Sheffield B, so don't worry, Sheffield A supporters there. No penalty for Adam Nather at the moment. We've had quite a few ABCs come through in the last few minutes. Of course, Bath A, we saw that one on the live stream. 2 drivers off there down at the hairpin, and the driver slowing down, allowing them back through. So that's the 16. Allowing the driver back through, as Reading A now getting a penalty. ABC ×2 for Reading A, so quite a few ABCs, like I mentioned, coming through. Reading A have got an ABC ×2. It was only 5 minutes ago that they got an ABC bump and pass as well, so a few penalties then for your 2024 champions at the finale here in 2025, so they haven't been able to carry on that number 1 plate through to 2026. We still don't know who that number 1 plate is going to go to. Of course, Bath A second in 2024. They were their third coming into the finale here, looking to make out a number 1, but with that ABC takeout earlier on, they're making it even harder for themselves.
Yeah, they've been mighty consistent so far this year, but if things are shaping up like this could be their drop round here in round 7 at Clay. Cardiff A as well. Again, couple of round wins, they've got that momentum behind them. GYG was a knockout for them, really, they did so well round 5 and round 6. Brookes A, though, had a slow start to the season, then picked up mighty strong through the mid-face, particularly at Buckmore. But today has just not turned out the way that he would have wanted. So if you're a Cardiff driver, I think you're quietly looking at that trophy at this point.
Yeah, you've maybe got one hand on it at the moment, not quite 2 just yet, though. Less than a minute left to go in this race, and I will say, I mean, despite the fact that it is my old team, Cardiff, I'm going to give them a big shout out and a big well done at GYG, because not only did they get a double round win, it was by a huge margin. It was like 6 or 7 points when all was said and done at the end of the day for both rounds. It was absolute domination throughout the day. I think it's the only time I've ever seen a team get a first, and a second. I don't think I've ever seen a team get 3 firsts to add to their scores, but what a round it was last time out for Cardiff. Going well so far today here at Clay Pigeon, but no real consistency here today at Clay. It's clearly proving a bit of a tough track for them to crack on through. Well, Cardiff have put a back marker, I should say, between themselves and Sheffield there, which will definitely help them. But we're heading around the final lap of race number 4 here. Well, it was a fantastic... Hold on a second. Where's second place gone? Where's second place gone? Warwick A have gone. They're in 6th place. That's going to be more points for Cardiff A. This could be huge then. It was a great battle between Loughborough and Warwick on the first half of this race. After getting through, though, Loughborough A What a race for the number 20. Wins on the road, and I don't think has any penalties.
No.
Should take full points, but Cardiff A are thus going to get second place in this race. That could be huge for the championship.
That will be Fraser Brunton delivering when it really mattered then to come home with second position. The day just starts to get brighter out on track in terms of the sun, and brighter for Cardiff as well. We see Sheffield A, Bath A also finishing not too far behind, but let's not forget penalties coming in for a few of those karts as well.
Indeed, yeah, big one to call. Fourth place of Bath A, so a +6 position penalty for that ABC takeout will drop them to 10th. And then Oxford Brookes A, 26 in that one. That's definitely going to have to be the race that they drop towards their round score in that one. And that, of course, puts the pressure on for the rest of the drivers in the team going up later today in their next 2 races, or one race, however many they've got left. Either way, it puts the pressure on because they can't mess it up. If it all goes wrong, they get taken out, they get a penalty, whatever. It's all going to go horribly wrong in terms of not only the round, but the championship as a whole. Right then, let's run you through the full results from race number 4. Loughborough A taking the win after some fantastic battling with Warwick A. Cardiff A and Sheffield A round out your top 3. Fraser manages to keep ahead of Adam there through the last 5 or 10 minutes of that race. What a run through the order, though, from Sheffield A. Up 33 places from dead last to 3rd. Impressive stuff. Bath A and Liverpool B round out your top 5. Then Warwick A, Leeds D, Bath C, Coventry A and Coventry B your top 10. They are followed by Sheffield A, UClan A, Coventry C and Oxford Brookes B. Outside the top 14 were Surrey B, Swansea A, Reading A, Lancaster A, Edinburgh A, UCLA, Loughborough D, Southampton C, De Montfort A, Southampton B, Oxford Brookes C, Oxford Brookes A, Bath B. And then finalising the order were Loughborough B, Reading B, Bath D, Lancaster B, Nottingham A, Sheffield C, Huddersfield A, Reading C and Bristol C there. Your 36 drivers taking to the checkered flag. We're all done then for race number 4. We've only got 2 more races to finalise the BUKC Mains Championship in 2025. Let's send it down again to Mr. Piers Prior on the dummy grid.
Down here ready to have a word with some of our drivers. Let's try and find our eventual race winner, Giulio Peroni, who I spoke to ahead of the race, but I can't see him anymore. Why don't we grab a word with Fraser Brunton instead, unless Fraser's already gone too. Oh, he's going to the back. Where's Fraser? Oh, he's still going round. Right, sorry, Luke. We're going to go through the grid. Fraser managed to have a good race now. Oh, now winner's right here as well. That's good timing, just like that. Giulio, you won, mate.
I did.
You won.
I did. It was a good race. I was quite surprised how far ahead me and, well, then P1 was. Yeah, it was a good scrap. It's had good fun.
Good race. Congratulations, Giulio. Good result for Loughborough A. They'll be having a fairly decent round, I would imagine. Let's grab a word with Fraser, because Cardiff are looking like they're having a pretty good day today. Fraser, let's grab a word once you've had a moment. That was a pretty solid result. Good day for Cardiff going so far.
Yeah, it's all right. Bit of a tough kart in that one. But I think the competitor, I don't know where Bath came. Where did Bath come?
Bath came in P4.
Not ideal. Oh, so 10.
And they got a takeout.
So yeah, and then Brooks in the bin. So
Brooks in the bin.
Official.
Brooks washed.
Official.
Confirmed. I'm going to go and make fun of Alfie now. Where is he? Where is he? Let's go find Alfie. I spoke to him before the race. He said he could get in the top 5. Washed. Where is he? Maybe he's already gone. Maybe he's already sobbing in the toilets. Let's have a look. I can't see Alfie. So let's wander on and grab a word with someone else instead. Looking ahead to race number 5, penultimate race of the day, or this morning. Again, let's not forget we've got the Drivers' Championships this afternoon, where teams go out the window and it's one-on-one. Oh dear, there's a bit of fuel being spilled. Who do we have at the front of the field here? Mr. A. Brown. Are you Mr. A. Brown?
Yes, sir.
What's your first name?
Alex Brown.
Alex Brown. Alex, you must be starting for Cambridge.
Yes, yeah. So I think you'll be pretty excited. It's our best starting position, so hopefully I make good use of it.
What I note an accent here. Where's your accent from?
I'm from Singapore.
Singapore?
You can see the flag here.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, here I think as well.
Yeah, that side. Sorry, I'm not very good with my flags. Alex, talk to me about the day so far. What's going on for Cambridge A? They didn't have a great one earlier.
Not so good, actually. A lot of 20s, a lot of 30s, but I mean, this is my first session out. Never driven this track before, so we'll see. Hopefully.
We will see. It's a bit of a unique one, so enjoy that.
It looks really hard. There's like only 4 corners, so we'll see if it's good.
What do we reckon the rest of Cambridge? How is Alex going to get on?
He's going to get the win.
He's going to get the win. Right, we heard it from Cambridge. No pressure, Alex. Go well. That's the outside of the front row, so that's second place. Lancaster A on pole in this one over the other side of the grid. Do we have Lancaster over here?
Yes, we have Lancaster, me racing for the A's in that race, and Mr.
Are you about to get
racing for A's from pole?
Come on, right, let's come and chat to our pole sitter in this one. Who are you?
Elliot Price, Lancaster.
Elliot Price, Lancaster A. Elliot, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Cereal, cornflakes.
Cornflakes? Anything on those cornflakes?
Just milk.
Just plain cornflakes?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like tough.
Breakfast of champions.
It's not the Breakfast of Champions. We've discussed this in the commentary box.
I see.
The Breakfast of Champions is I can't remember what John and Reeve said. Is it, I think, an egg and bacon bap or something like that? Anyway, talk to me about Lancaster's day so far.
It's been all right, actually. A few of the other guys, we've all been doubling up. So the A's have been doing the B races and the B's a bit. But it's been fun. So far, so good.
Good. If you don't win this race, what's going to be your racing driver excuse?
The engine was bad. I was in this one last race as well.
Oh, you were in the same car?
Same car, and it was awful on the straights.
You're already getting your racing driver excuses and I love it. Perfect. We're going to be hearing plenty more of those in the Drivers' Championships later on, I am sure. Right, moving down the grid. Who can we chat to? Who's this? Let's have a chat to Callum. I'm assuming this is Callum.
It is Callum.
This is Callum because he's got Callum on the side of his helmet. Actually, Adam, let's chat to you first. We didn't grab away with you. Adam, you went plus about 1 million places in that last one.
Yeah, it was a really nice kart, to be honest. It handled really well, and after the first few minutes, the packs just never kind of opened up, so it was just easy to kind of go through karts. And then I was just trying to push Fraser on in the end to try and catch the leader, but we just weren't quick enough.
Not a bad result from dead last.
Dead last to third. It's good for drivers' champs. For turning my kart off. Wait.
No one saw that. No one saw that.
No one saw that, but they might see me taking you out after.
Are you in the lights?
Heavies.
Okay, so
the super final first, so maybe we can count my eggs before they out.
We'll see if we get to the super final. If we do, then don't take me out because I'll cry. And no one wants to see that. Anyway, Callum.
Yes, hello.
What's going on?
Trying to remember how to drive.
You can remember how to drive.
It's been half a year.
Half a year? I mean, I haven't driven in 2 and a bit years.
It's still a long time.
It is a long time. It's only 4 corners around here, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's basically an oval, isn't it?
It's an oval with a couple of left-handers. Yeah. Anyway, enjoy. Callum, going from somewhere in the middle of the pack. Let's chat to number 2 for Bath, Vavavoom.
Yep. Hello.
Hello. Bath's had an up and down day so far.
Yeah, so I mean, performance-wise, really, really good. Just up. Just the last race.
I won't repeat that.
Let's say a mistake. A misjudgment was made in the last race and still finished in the top 10, but not as high in the top 10 as we wanted to.
Amazing. What do you reckon your chances of clinching this title now are?
Much better than what we started the day. We still have to stay calm, but I think it's a good chance. I think it's looking good.
Well, you're starting in, what's that, 20-something place?
17.
17.
Doable. It's doable.
We saw Adam Nather on that last one go 36-8, I think it was. Where did he finish? Something like that. Sheffield. No, he went 36 to third. Wow. So yeah, surely it should be easy.
Yeah, should be easy. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Yeah.
Right, Philip Vava going for Bath A in that one. They are looking to try and do their best chance of taking the title. Second last year. Can they go one better this year? Only time will tell. 2 more races to go this afternoon. Let's grab a word and a quick chat with our driver last on the grid. Who are you? Who are you racing for?
Bath.
Bath what?
Bath D.
Bath D. We just chatted to your teammate of Bath A. He's going from 17. Are you going to be joining him at the front of the grid in this race?
Probably not. Not that fast, but we'll hopefully get some action anyway. Yeah.
We shall see. Where do you think you can come in this race?
Hopefully make up a few places. I'm not sure. Just.
What would be a good result?
I think. Where am I starting? 33rd. I don't know, 25th. I'd be happy with 25th.
+5? Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the Bath drives in this one. It's going to be competitive right down to the end of the races this afternoon. Penultimate race, lightweight race 3, coming up next.
Thank you very much, Piers. Our third lightweight race of the morning and our penultimate race of the day and our penultimate race of the BUKC Mains Championship for 2025. I can't believe it's gone by so quickly. Now, part of the reason why it's gone by so quickly, first couple of rounds, not streamed, unfortunately, but we were following along with the action at least. We've joined in for the second half of the season, and while it might be the penultimate round of the mains, fear not, because the driver champs are going to be this afternoon. Plenty of action to be had there with our finals, our super final, our final 10-minute dash to round out BKC running, as we have a spinner on the practice there.
Oh!
As we have a crash on the practice there, following the spin. And, of course, tomorrow we have all of the Inters action to bring to your faces on the stream as well. So, certainly, plenty of action still to go, even if this is the end to our mains running this year.
Indeed, yeah. Well, time flies when you're having fun, Reeve. And we're having so much fun here commentating over the BUKC. I will say, it does look as though we've had some stuff put down on the start-finish straight.
There was a bit of a fuel spill as they were refueling one of the cars, I believe. So they've just put some grit out to make sure it's all safe. It's fuel, so it evaporates really quickly anyway. But just making sure that there's going to be no kind of patches where it's a bit loose, a bit slippy. Should be fine though, it's on the straight anyway. If you're making moves at that point of the straight to where a bit of a grip difference might knock you off the circuit, it's a particularly interesting spot to make a move, I think.
Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, if you see a sudden plume of dust, don't worry, the cart hasn't gone bang. It's it's just that on the start-finish straight. So all is fine. But we have seen a couple of carts struggling to get going this morning. A couple of drivers having to change over carts. Not seen it in this one though, to be fair. So all is looking swell as we head through into race number 5. Like you mentioned, only 2 more races left to go then in the British Universities Karting Championship mains classification. Of course, split between the Premiers and the Clubmans. We've had our eyes mainly focused on the Prems so far today, but we do need to have a little bit of a look at the Clubmans as well as to how that is playing out. How are we looking as we came into today?
Close. It's Loughborough C and Birmingham A who lead the Clubmans fight with just 1 point separating them, much like what we had at the front end of the field. Now, Birmingham A have been a bit of a headliner drive so far today. We've seen them up at the tall end of the running on a number of occasions, making some good battles, picking some good fights there. And we've seen a few other Clubman drives as well. Surrey B, of course, having that, as I alluded to in the previous race, that slightly bit of a roller coaster day, really, when all is said and done. Likewise for Huddersfield A as well. They're a bit further back in the Clubman's order, but we're looking to have a really strong race here today. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked out.
I think it's been a pretty good battle between those two as well. Like you mentioned, Loughborough C and Birmingham A. If I even just look back at race number 1, Loughborough C up 15 in 5th place at the end of that one, whereas Birmingham A down 10 to 19th place. But then at race number 2, it was pretty much the opposite way round. Birmingham A were up 16 places to P6. Loughborough C were up 1 place to P17. So still chopping and changing throughout today in the Clubmans as well. So lots of championship action to be had, not only in the Prems, but also in the Clubmans as well. And with all said and done as well, just looking back at the results from the previous races, 2 race wins so far today from Loughborough A, race 3 and race 4. So impressive stuff from Loughborough. Their C team doing well, like we say, in the Clubmans, and Loughborough C starting this one in 4th place. So definitely one to watch there from row number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be their chance to bring that fight back to Birmingham A at this point of the morning's running, as we are now all formed up relatively quickly actually behind our pace cart. Looks like we might be getting underway fairly shortly in this one.
It does indeed. It looks like we're about ready to go then for race number 5 here at Clay Pigeon. Will we go this time? No. Round again we go. I wasn't sure what we were doing then. But no, round again, so a little bit more time to get this all formed up. But who have we got then? Lancaster A and Cambridge A on the front row. It was great to hear from Cambridge A before we got this one underway, courtesy of Mr. Piers Prior. And all the team absolutely sure that Cambridge are going to win this one, so let's see.
Yeah, the drivers seem to have a decent amount of confidence. The day hasn't worked out quite their way so far, so they're hoping to make up for that, I am sure, in the final couple of races and our last lightweight race of the year.
Indeed, yeah, looks like we're good to go then. 2 by 2 to the lights, then the 17 and the 43. Side by side we go to racing action here. The green flag is out for race number 5, and down to Billy's Blind we go. Immediately off over the curb, 2, 3, 4 drivers off. That's a big incident there down at the first corner. So many drivers involved, and even the Club 100 staff member with his hands up in the air. What was going on there? But either way, look at that. Confidence in the Cambridge team, and they've shown it there. Through to the lead they go already. One driver shuffled off to the exit. I think that was was the 77 of Loughborough
start.
C. Oh, false start. The first one we've seen so far today. Chevron flag is out then, and we'll get re-gridded and go for it again. That was the most calamitous start there across the field, as I think it was around the bottom end of the top 10 there, which flew over the inside curb, spun it around, and then the rest of the drivers have got nowhere to go.
Yeah, it all started at the top end of the field, as you say there. We take 5 minutes off this race. It will now be a 20-minute race, and you get that kind of bunching up effect. Once there's an instance at the start of the pack, when you're all bunched up, it's going to work its way back through to the rest of the field there. And it just goes to show this is the pinnacle of motorsport. What other divisions would you see the marshals themselves going, what are you doing? Brilliant stuff.
Perplexed as to the action that's going on in front of their eyes. And so are we here, watching on the live stream.
Quite rightly so, I liked that. That was an interesting start.
Well, like you say, though, yeah, crucially, because of that false start, race reduces from 25 minutes to 20. So less time for it all to go wrong, but less time for moves to be made. So it's a particularly tough one for drivers near the back of the grid. We're going to go around again, so we've still got a minute or so to chat through things. Really difficult because you've now got 5 minutes less time to make your way through the order, make up those places and get points for your team. So you might not have even been involved in the incident, and you're going to be penalised for it, which is gutting, but that's just how racing can go sometimes. And it's particularly gutting for Cambridge A, starting on the outside of the grid, sidling through to the lead immediately, looking like the second place backwards was still scrapping it out, and they could start to drive away. Well, they have to try and do it all again here. Second chance at this race start. Will we get it underway this time of asking, though?
Yeah, and the pressure does build so much with these false starts, because you know that the marshals are looking on intently, even more so than before. You know that the race is shorter. As you say, you've got that race start to do all again, and with 20 minutes, there's less race to make the move. As you can see, the marshals trying to make sure that everyone keeps the pace down as we head into the first corner this time round. So far, looking a little bit cleaner. Let's see if we head into that first corner. Everyone makes it through. That's what we like to see. Oh, no,
there was a spinner at the back.
Everyone makes it through in my mind. There we go.
All is fine. The poor cone did still get ruined on the inside curb, but either way, they'll get put back to where they should be. It's not been quite as good of a start this time for Cambridge, though. Pole sitter of Lancaster has managed to get them this time. He's got a few drivers facing the wrong way this time, down at the hairpin. And Cambridge now the ones finding themselves leading the train from second place backwards as they all continue to squabble for the same piece of tarmac. They're heading through top bend, all getting a bit slidey for a few of the drivers there involved in that one. Swansea 8 shuffling back a little bit on the number 19 plate. They've lost 3 places on that first lap, dropping down to P7. Rest of the drivers all in the top 10, managing to hook it on by. Liverpool B up 3 places, Bristol A up 3 places as well. And there's your change for second place. Loughborough C through on Cambridge A.
Okay, and we're having a couple of technical issues by the looks of things, so we are going to jump back into the racing action here at Clay Pigeon. We're going to give a quick restart to the stream, so we'll join you in just a few moments as we're back underway.